welcome to a very special episode of Empirical Peapod. We're kicking off Season 2 with a Short of All takeover. Thank you guys so much for coming back, continuing this journey with me. It means the absolute world to me. I love you guys. I love Short of All. For the next episode, I'll get a new intro, but this is awesome. I'm excited. This episode, I love it. I hope you guys love it. We had a great time recording it. It's hard for me not to get lost in the song. It sounds weird without the vocals. But let's get into the episode.
Have you ever moved the nuts around inside the gonads?
What's the point of that?
Juggling.
Moving
You
around.
can get 'em-
The point
you
is
can get 'em tied
testicular
up.
torsion.
It's similar to those like Chinese
Benoit balls.
no,
That's very different.
but also quite lovely. But what are the ones that like if you do this they
Yeah,
go
I know what
in
you're
circle,
talking about. They
ring,
make
like,
those
make a noise. Yeah.
tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That applies directly to the balls.
Right.
I don't do enough
You're not
ball
supposed to
play.
mix them up that much.
Like,
You'll get them
right?
tied up in
Apparently
a
not.
I've been neglecting my balls.
Testicular
Torsion.
torsion is not good.
You're not going to have them forever.
Cat just took a shit.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's
Are
true.
you
You
threatening
probably
me?
will. I don't know. I think
They are very low now.
when,
They're like
when you turn
slap
41, they fall
my
off.
kneecaps. Jesus Christ.
You didn't know that?
You say your balls touch your kneecaps?
They're low.
no,
dude.
he said that.
Oh,
I
they're
said
low?
when you turn
Mine are
41, your
low.
balls fall off.
Shit, I'm gonna be 41 in a couple weeks. That's
Well, there
not
you go.
good.
dude.
Say
I don't
goodbye to
use
your
them anyway.
balls.
Pisces?
Hey, I've been trying to get
There
rid
he
of my
is.
balls for years.
Well, you are
I hate
41. What
You hate
happened?
'em.
They're
You
supposed
hate
to
'em?
fall off.
I don't know. It must be.
Like new,
I definitely
like
think the whole thing would look better
Like, what were you
without
doing?
them.
Like leaving him
Must
at the
have a
bus stop? Or
yeah, I don't know if it looks better without them.
Yeah, looks better maybe.
What looks better?
If you had no balls.
Why would that look better?
That's what I said. I don't know if it
there's
looks
still,
better.
Gives
But I
that
don't.
modern
Yeah,
look.
there's,
Be a lot.
there's still
More
a
convenient,
there's still a dong there. It's not going to be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gross.
No, it looks better with the balls
I
for
want,
sure.
I want my pouch to look like a Chipotle.
Like an exploded burrito?
No, the outside of a Chipotle.
Oh, a tortilla.
Sleek and modern.
All right,
Harsh
so
angles.
we started recording at the beginning of the ball talk.
Perfect.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, great.
How are the levels? Did you check those?
We'll get them in post. Who cares, right?
Oh, yeah, that's not really how it works, but okay.
Oh, that's awkward.
It's been my first time having somebody on the show that's done a podcast.
You know what? I don't really want to talk about this.
And knows about microphones, that's right.
Kids started early.
Well, everybody's been talking for the last 4 hours we've been here.
Oh, you've been getting the levels?
setting
Good,
the
good
levels
for you.
and such. Yeah, I'm not a complete buffoon, but thanks.
No, and I told you before
I'm sorry,
you started
so
recording that I'm very impressed with the all the mics and everything. We
My
all have
dickhead can
little
buy
bells.
equipment. We'll see how it goes,
Yeah,
actually.
no, it's good.
The exciting part is that we're here in Dan's basement where we do a lot of fun things with
Very
the
exciting
whole
things.
band of Short of All.
Howdy.
Woo!
My first podcast.
Like, even fucking Deeves is here.
He's
you
never
guys.
even heard of one before.
Yeah, he couldn't spell empirical earlier.
Hey, in fairness to him, E's and I's
Are silly?
make similar sounds.
That's true. I'm empirical.
I spelled
Yeah.
that word wrong 5 times in my history. So.
My mom would say
You
Italian.
should have seen him try to look it up. It's like,
His phone actually turned off.
Yeah, it was exciting before we got on. Everybody was just showing each other pictures of their kids and talking about how old they are. It was-
not
I missed
everybody.
that.
Well,
I
except for
wasn't.
Jason. Yeah, Jason missed that. Andy,
Want to see my boys?
you are a father and have multiple children and a wife, but he didn't talk about them.
Well, I did talk about him a little bit, but I wanted to hear about Matt's kids because I have not seen Matt in a long time.
You talked more about your balls than you did your children.
Yeah,
You haven't been here the entire time.
but he's right. You do talk more about your balls than your kids.
Not in normal life.
Just
Ask my children.
I'm sure you don't talk to your kids about your balls.
Well,
I bet he does. I know Andy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I didn't even know Deeps had kids, to be honest. I knew he
neither
got
did
married.
JJ.
Yep.
Nope.
JJ, oh yeah, you didn't know. I knew JJ had kids.
I meant JJ didn't know Matt. had
Yeah, yeah,
kids.
that makes sense.
Or was married.
Matt, how old are your kids?
I just turned 38.
You.
You wanna
I was
tee that
hoping for
one
like a
up
happy birthday.
Yeah.
It was 2 days
It
ago.
was just Matt's
Happy
birthday.
birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday,
birthday,
you.
I did say happy belated birthday to you off
Yeah.
recording.
The rest of us heard that and we're like, who cares? How old are your children?
My boys are 4 and one's going to be 2 this summer. So 4 and 2.
Nice.
Little tiny guys.
How long have you been married now?
Oh, God. 4 years? 3 years. 5 years? When was 2019?
Yes.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
We got the house. No, we got married, then the house, then the kids. It was like
That seems like
we
a
like
good,
grew up so
good
fast.
order though.
But then it was also like
Pretty good
marriage, house, kid, pandemic. So it was just like
Ooh,
a
yeah.
wild
First you get the
few
khakis,
years.
then you get the jobs, then you get the chicks.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
See, I went kid and then none of the rest of it.
Right. Well, yeah. How old is Veda now?
I did
22.
none
Yeah.
of it.
I just got the
What?
date for her
I did none of
college
it. I
graduation.
eat gas station
really?
sandwiches.
No
Nice.
side talking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have to be cognizant.
Yeah,
of,
that'll be awesome in editing.
we
trying
need a
to-
speaking stick.
Yeah, well, you think the host would dictate the conversation, but fuck me,
I
right?
just
We'll get
let it go. Let
James,
her
how
rip.
old are your kids?
1 and 2.
And 3 and
Irish
4.
twins, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they.
Give her a break, bud.
God, he's only had sex twice. So he's like, I gotta do this right again. This is awesome.
Turns out I'm great at it.
I'll never believe that.
We'll have to have a podcast with Melissa so we can find out if that's true.
She's scheduled actually, so that will happen.
He's like, topic 1.
Yeah. Topic 1, JJ's pale wiener. And
Well, it
how
is
old are your
that.
kids?
Oh boy, let's see. 7, 4, and 1.
Jesus. So it's wild to me because our band actually and your band stopped playing in the same month. And that
Is that
was
true?
14 years ago.
I don't know.
Jesus
It was in
Yeah.
September.
What if he was like, no, that's not true. I just said that.
Because we played that show together, and then we only had one more show after at the Howie's for the actual thing
Yeah.
that you guys would have been on if whatever didn't.
Was that last show the one at the Bottom Lounge?
Yeah, it
Underground
was.
In
Lounge.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Underground Lounge, that's the one.
That was in the beginning of September of 2010.
Where we
was-
found the rapper out
Yeah,
in the
they
back.
brought him in.
In the-
Diamond.
yeah, we
Diamond,
were
Diamond.
we were
Yeah.
just outside in like the parking lot, and there was like
We
some
were drinking
dudes,
in
like,
the alley.
yeah, oh yeah, we were drinking in the alley, and the
Yeah.
one dude was like, some guy was out there, and he's just like, "Oh, you guys are gonna play a show? I could rap," and we're like, "All right, fucking come in and rap for everyone."
Well, tell me if I'm wrong, but the way I remember it was we were like, "Oh, you rap, huh? Why don't you show
Let's
us something?"
see what you got.
And this dude
He was legit.
freestyled
Yeah.
and clowned every one of us in turn like perfectly, rhyme and meter the whole thing with a beat, and we were like so blown away, probably because of the handle of vodka we were just about finished with.
It could also be
That
because
we were
we're
like,
white
we got
guys
30
that don't
minutes,
rap.
bud. You get 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was funny
Take as long
too.
as you want.
Yeah.
It was funny because I feel like everybody presumed that we were going to have him play with us, not the punk rock kids. And then he rapped over you guys playing.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this is awesome.
Wait, he rapped over us playing? I thought he just opened the show.
I think you just played a.
You
beat.
played just a beat. Like
I played a beat?
Yeah.
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 I played a rap beat?
I mean,
That's awesome.
I did every
you
little
are a
bit of
drummer. You
slap
could
that
go
I
do
knew.
do da.
You
da,
did all
da,
the
do, da.
slaps and stuff?
Yep, and JJ,
I don't-
And JJ went, wow, wow.
Yeah. You don't remember any of that, eh?
No.
That's amazing because
That's
it actually
crazy.
was awesome.
And I wasn't like wasted or anything.
you
I
were.
just No, I mean I
Yeah,
think
we all-
that's
we
just an
mentioned
old
the handle
factor.
You spit some bars too, dude. It was wild.
I got up and I shoved him down and I was like, wiggity 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 whack.
Yep.
Sounds like me.
So that's how it all ended. But I want to go back to the beginning. We've touched on this a little bit in some of the individual shows also. But Andy, Jason, and Dan, you guys have been playing together for forever, like since you, like teenagers, right?
Yep, high school. for
And
sure.
actually, did you two, Dan and Andy, did you guys play before Jason
Yeah.
came over, right?
That's a good
we
story,
stole him
actually.
from another band, yeah.
Can you tell us that story?
Should we tell you that story or should we start from the beginning?
Well, you're right. The beginning, please.
And if we're going to start from the beginning, then Dan should actually start from the beginning because he started it all.
there you go, Dan.
I guess I did, yeah. My uncle gave me an acoustic guitar, and it was really hard to play and hurt my fingers, so I was like, I need an electric guitar. And as soon as I got one, I was like, oh, this is why people start a band. Yeah, let's do that. And so I had a buddy, his name was Marty, and he was like, I guess I'll play bass. And
Yep,
so he
like you do.
picked one up, and I was like, hey, I'm going to do this chord here. You do the boom boom in the same place. And now we're a band.
Is that how you imagine baseball? Boom.
Yeah.
Did you tell him what to play? Like did you write the very first song? Or
we
did
kind of learned together. I was like we figured out like power chords, and then I was like,
Yeah,
oh, so the bass line is generally the note of the power chord, and then it walks the scale of the key that you're in.
Like the root.
And that was the revelation where we were like,
That's
oh,
cool.
that's how songs happen.
Dan, now, when you're classically trained, did you already play the piano before this?
I push back against classically trained. I took piano lessons from an old lady named Ruthie down the street.
She was
For a
classically
few
trained.
years, I took piano lessons. Yeah, probably she was.
But
She
you,
was,
but
she
you
was
knew
awesome.
piano
But
before
I took
picking
piano
up the
lessons.
guitar.
I learned to read music and stuff. Yeah.
So you had at least a very archaic understanding of what you were getting into.
Yeah, for sure.
So because that's like a huge step up.
I also took several piano lessons and then quit.
Good point, Andy.
I'm just saying.
Is there anything
Throw
you
it
haven't
in
quit,
there.
Andy?
But back to the story.
Yeah. Well, oh gosh, where did I leave off? So yeah, me and
Marty,
Marty, we were looking
something.
for a drummer, and we played with one drummer, Katie, who
Were you guys dating at that time?
I think that was honestly I can't remember,
Is that
but
kinda how you
I
met?
want to say it was right before that we started dating.
Okay, yeah.
Like, but yeah, it just like high school kids being flighty. It didn't
For sure,
we-
yeah.
we
And she
never
was
got
on your
back
show.
together.
Just for a
that's
sidebar.
That's Katie Kirby.
Something I don't know. Did you guys start with punk rock, like when you started playing?
That
Or
was
did-
my-
or were you like
yeah,
trying to
for sure.
learn like alternative?
No,
covers
for
and
me,
shit?
I wanted to do punk rock. Yeah.
Nice.
What were
Oh,
you
yeah.
kind of like?
Because I was an
thinking?
alternative kid.
Yeah, what
all
were you thinking
through
at that
junior
time?
High, and then
Yeah.
as soon as like I started seeing my first skate and snowboard videos, and I was like, "What is this music? They're going so fast!" And I love
Yeah.
it. And
Same
yeah,
thing
it's-
here.
yeah.
I
By the time
never
I had
slowed
By
down.
the time I had a
skipped the
guitar, I
whole
was like,
alternative
"Punk
era.
fucking
I was
rock."
like,
Yeah.
What were you like inspired by there when you were like, this is the kind of sound I want to go for?
Ooh,
first started?
there was a band called the Nobodies on Hopeless Records, and the guy sang kind of like this, pretty much. Yeah.
Was that the
But-
girl like you?
Oh, yeah.
wanna go-
But I was like, listen, it's the
That was
same
JJ,
three
everybody.
chords. Yeah, and then here's the next song. It's the same ones. It's the same. I could be a band.
Yeah.
I could be a band.
yeah.
So things didn't pan out with Kirby. What did you guys? Is that where Andy came?
I heard a rumor. Me and Andy were friends since kindergarten.
'cause I say
And
this-
so I knew he did like drums and band.
Kindergarten
and
buddies.
stuff. Yeah,
was
so I knew
was
he did.
Marty part of the kindergarten crew
No,
also?
Marty moved to town in like junior high.
So you and Andy were already friends.
Yeah.
For
You played drums
decades.
that early?
No.
No, but I heard a rumor that he had gotten a drum kit and had started playing with
That's
some other
hilarious.
folks.
Yeah, I remember. I'll mention that in a second. So yeah, I asked for drums from my parents for my birthday and Christmas because I had to combine those things. But my dad said okay. And my brothers were both real pissed. They were a lot older than me, but they were mad because they always wanted to play drums. So like my parents never would let them.
Yeah.
Like they're like, no, you're not doing that. And then of course like I'm the baby and.
Right.
You know, they're older and they're getting ready to leave the house and things, and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah. So my dad, we went to Guitar Center in Arlington Heights, actually.
I think JJ just took a picture of my feet. Sorry.
and
That's your
Deeves
sockets.
took pictures of feet.
Yeah, I just watched JJ take a picture of my
Jay,
foot.
you just took a picture of Jason's feet?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your story.
Oh, that's weird.
That is
People will
weird.
pay you $20 a month for that.
He thought it,
Text me that,
he
dude.
thought he was gonna slip.
That's the thing.
It's on OnlyFans.
I need to do feet for
Feet
channel.
I
edition.
think there's an Only Feets.
Yeah, only feet.
Only feetsies.
Anyway, sorry. Back to your spoiled brat baby story.
Oh, that's okay. Well,
Take your socks off.
I wouldn't have been in the band if it weren't for that. So, whatever.
Did
But
you ever take lessons?
I did band in high school. Well, not high school. I'm sorry. No, not even high
didn't go
school.
to high school.
In fifth grade.
Dropped out of high school.
Yeah, right. Well, that doesn't.
We'll get there.
I could have played in band in high school still and still dropped out.
That's true.
Irrelevant. But no, I didn't actually play in high school. I played in grade school. In fifth grade, I got introduced to like band.
Yeah.
And I got the drum pad and all that shit, and I did that. And I never played a drum set though. And then I dropped out of band in like seventh grade. I did marching band and stuff like that. That was fun. But I always just like to beat on stuff, and eventually, I think it was was it freshman year then or sophomore?
I think it was.
I think it was
I
sophomore.
think it was
feel like.
sophomore year. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the drum set. I had only had it for like 6 months or something like that, and I of course, like John Obert and like some other kids from school were like, "Oh, let's just start a band." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, cool." And I hadn't even talked to Dan about this at that time, but we were still friends, obviously. And like, so we got together, me and John and like some other guys from school, and we basically just sat around and like tuned our instruments and like beat on stuff, and like
Yeah.
they wanted to play Metallica covers, and John was obviously obsessed with Smashing Pumpkins, so he wanted to play that kind of stuff, which I like too. But we didn't really do anything. I think we only like practiced, quote unquote, if you want to call it that, like once or twice maybe.
Yeah.
And then I remember specifically. This is the story I wanted to tell. At school, I remember in high school, sophomore year, I was in front of the gym. I remember, and I don't know if I was leaving gym or going into it or whatever, but I might have been a passing period or something. But like Dan walked up to me and he's like, "Hey, I heard you play drums." And I was like, "Yeah, but you know, I'm in a band already." And and he's like, "Well,
Royalties.
why don't you play with us?" And I was like, "Well, you know, I can't, you know, piss off the guys and stuff like that. You know, even though again we'd only played like, you know, twice, barely." And so I invited him and Marty over, and I think you even rode the bus home with me from that, or you were driving at the time, so you might have been.
Both are true. Sophomore year, I was a licensed driver because I had an early birthday, but they wouldn't let me park at school as a sophomore, so I rode the bus and like an idiot.
Yeah, but then you and Marty came to my house, and then you showed me the 2 songs that you had been working on. I was like, "Oh, you have songs and you made them?" Because before we weren't even playing anything, and I remember one of them. I don't know if you remember this. One of them was called Peanut Butter and Jelly.
Are you sure it wasn't macaroni and cheese?
Ah, you're right. Fuck.
That's the
Both delicious.
How did I get that confused?
Macaroni and Cheese was the first song I ever deviated from power chords on.
Oh, well, it was also the first song I
guys have
ever heard you
deviated
play.
from power chords.
They don't play real punk rock.
Shut up, the rhythm section.
But it was that, and I forget what the other one was. But yeah, Macaroni and Cheese and that one. And then we started jamming, and we kept doing it, and we all liked it. And then I just had like a computer, but I hooked up one microphone into my microphone in on my sound card on my computer, and I put the microphone behind the door of my room, and then we were playing in the living room of my parents' house, and we recorded the mac and cheese song and then the other song, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then I also happened to have a CD burner my sophomore year, which
Fucking rich.
I did.
Yeah.
Hey, I earned that. By the way, you motherfucker. I worked at this.
He earned that.
Yeah, I worked at the Civic Center, and I earned my own money, and I bought
Is that true? You worked at the Civic Center?
Yeah, the first year that they opened the aquatic stuff,
Yeah.
and I earned the money, and I was like, I could buy whatever I want with this. It was like $350 or something, because CD-ROMs were a lot expensive back then. And I was like, if I buy this CD burner, I can buy CDRs and download music, because you could download shit on Napster or AOL and stuff.
It's all just
in
this
the
had to
day.
be the late 90s, right?
LimeWire.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
so
like
I
96,
in
97.
school I would say, hey, if anybody wants a CD, I'll burn a CD for you. Pick any 10 songs you want, write them in a playlist, and I'll get them for you and burn them. And I did, and I made some good money on that too. But it was funny because I burned a CD with Macaroni and Cheese and the other song on it, and then I had a label printer that I printed a label for our. It was Burnt Toast was the band's name at the time.
Was Jimmy in the band yet?
No.
At the time? No.
No, it was just me, Dan, and Marty. And I printed the label and I put it on there. And later, well, we can transition into that. But Justin Schmedeke saw that and was like, "Your band has a CD?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just recorded it and then burned the files onto a CD." And he's like, "Oh my God." And then that launched into doing some other stuff with them too.
I'm always amazed at how people are like impressed that you can have a CD or stuff streaming. Like any dickhead can do it. It's not as impressive as it sounds.
Well, it depends on the time, though.
oh yeah,
'Cause,
back then it was impressive. Like especially
Yeah.
to DIY it all yourself. Back
Well, and
then.
streaming was a thing too. Like when,
Yeah.
or saying you had a podcast, like years and years ago, that
Yeah.
was like a lot more difficult. Now it's a lot easier, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and
CDs were the same thing.
Yeah. So when did you said? Because I forgot that was Burnt Toast first.
Yes,
So and then you said because Jimmy came through
that was much later, but
much later, before after him.
Before
When did
it was
Jason-
before Jason.
Okay, so what's that time frame when Jason shows up, and what kind of iterations change to that?
It was only Jimmy that joined the band.
Yeah, and it was mostly that like I wasn't like confident playing the guitar and singing at the same time.
Were you singing at that time?
Yeah.
So you didn't come in and just start singing?
I think he started doing backups immediately,
Yeah.
and it was a little while before you took any leads from the drum kit, which is
But that was a lot-
awesome, by the way.
Well, that was
Yeah.
a lot because you wrote the lyrics, so you sang the songs,
Right.
Right.
right? But then later, down the line, you started writing stuff for me, which was awesome. Like you wrote stuff, and you'd be like, okay, I'm singing this part, and then you're singing this part. Or at some point, you even wrote some songs for me, which I thought was really awesome.
Is that a tough transition though to start singing from behind, pulling a Phil Collins, and start singing behind the kit?
Dude, that's incredible stamina, though. It looked really difficult.
Especially the style you play, it's ridiculous.
It's really funny.
To still be on like key and to be able to just have the diaphragm to do that.
It's I appreciate that. I think it sounds and looks maybe harder than it really is.
Yeah.
Because one thing you have to understand, I mean, with any musician, I mean, it's all syncopation. Whether it's your fingers learning to do different things at the same time, or a drummer where your limbs are doing different things at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just another extension of that. So
It is,
singing
it's
is
impossible to watch because like I can't play a whole kit in general, to where it's like every limb is doing its own thing, like it's unison, but it's doing its own thing, and then having to sing and stay on that timing as well.
But it's just another thing, though, is what I'm saying. It's like, so
Yeah.
if you got your left arm and your right arm doing different things, and your left foot and your right foot doing different things, singing is just another thing.
But
So,
there's also a discipline by having the microphone in your face,
yeah.
not straying from it, or making sure it's there, not hitting it with sticks.
Well, that,
And
and
adds to
that's, yeah, that's true. That's another instrument to learn how to work. Like, you have to learn how to work a microphone.
To be fair, I don't think you ever stopped hitting the mic with sticks.
Yeah.
It wasn't the mic so much as it was the stand.
yeah, totally.
The stand. But, yeah.
Pretty cool though. But yeah, so back at that time, I because I was still learning the guitar basically as we went. Like I was like, I don't know if I would like. I think that if I could focus on my instrument and somebody else could focus on their lyrics, they'd both be better.
Right.
And so
But
that at that point,
but you
was,
continued to want to at least write lyrically.
Never stopped. Yeah.
In music.
Thank God.
The first time that you heard him sing, though, you're like, "Oh, there's something here."
Yeah, well, it wasn't just that he could sing. It was that as I would sing a lead, this motherfucker would instinctively know the harmony that would sound good behind it. I could work out harmonies if I sat down and worked it as music theory. I'd be like, oh, here's the third, and we need the fifth above it. Like, I could science it out. Andy could sit there and hear it and be like, I got it. Oh!
But in that sense, he was just a natural.
Yeah.
Like, he just had it.
I've never heard you say
I
that.
didn't understand a word you just said.
That's really
so
sweet.
A fifth and
I mean, it's probably easier to be naturally good at something than learn it. So after
It's too loud.
Thank you.
Jimmy's in and out of the band,
split the difference, bud.
when does Jason show up?
This is a great story.
Oh, I might not know the story.
better.
All I remember is being super jealous of the Squeegee Thieves.
Yeah.
Seeing them and being like,
Let's
man.
hear from Jason
Well,
about
it,
Squeegee
actually,
Thieves
good.
not
first.
for nothing. If you listen to Jason's episode, which is the last episode,
No
of
one's
season
going to listen to
one,
that.
He's by far the most popular episode.
I'm just kidding.
He goes into pretty good depth there, but if you want to summarize,
Just a
it for us,
recap, maybe.
Yeah,
Like-
please.
I played in a band in Aurora called Squeeze Thieves.
Nice, nailed it.
Moved to Oswego, didn't want to drive to Aurora anymore.
Yeah, that's right, because he was doing
Great
both
All
stuff.
right. Okay. So then we had played
Story done.
at least one or two shows with Squeegee Thieves.
So you guys were playing shows as Burnt Toast.
Oh yeah.
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 With,
Played Battle of the
the
Bands.
four
I think
of
we
you.
got like second in one of the Battle of the Bands as Burnt Toast because there's one we played the first year and I don't think we placed.
Rightly so, we were terrible.
Yeah. And then the second year, I think we got second. And I think that was the one that you said that we brought a toaster to the show.
Oh, that's right.
And we burnt, or no, it wasn't to the show. We burnt a whole bunch of bread,
Yeah.
toast, before the show, and we brought it
Yep.
to throw out in the audience
Yep.
at the end.
Wow.
And also, Dan had written a song where there's this one, like at the very end, there was like we were gonna do the chorus, and it was just like da na 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 or something like that, like, and then like this, we did that for like a whole verse. And when we did that, we brought up all these kids,
The neighborhood children.
all the neighborhood children who loved to listen to us play, and like they totally envied us and stuff, which was cool. So that we brought them all on stage, and like everyone's clapping their hands, and we're all da na na na, all singing, and then we like threw out the toast, and then did like one last refrain, and it was pretty cool. And I think we got
Brought the
second on that
toast?
one. Yeah,
You brought toast?
yeah, that's what I said. We
We made it
burned
on
all the
stage,
toast.
bro.
at home. We pre-burnt the toast.
What's zoned out during that part? I'm sorry. So there's actual real toast.
Yeah.
You just throw in kids' faces.
No.
From around the neighborhood.
No, the kids helped
Yeah,
us
the
throw the
audience.
toast to the audience, which was
The
basically
kids are not the audience?
no. Well, we invited them on stage to sing with us. I think we
kids.
just talked about this.
Feeding the toast to the audience like a duck.
So Matt is representing everybody who needed to rewind for a second.
I didn't need clarification.
He's like, hold on, can you guys go back?
This is the audience today.
The people in the audience were actually just like a bunch of old people sitting at tables drinking,
Really,
and then they were pelted with burnt toast.
Yeah.
It's basically what happened.
And my grandfather
enjoying their
also, who
Sunday.
also nearly disowned me for putting on that coconut bra.
Oh, he was mad. He thought he was gonna have to have a more serious talk with you, probably.
Yep.
Did you guys win that Battle of the Bands?
I think
That
it
was.
second-
I think we came in second
place.
on that one.
Yeah.
So you guys are
probably
playing.
3 Crease won.
Oh yeah, if they were around, probably.
Or Plastic Santa, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man,
I'll give it to
there's
them.
an old name. But you guys were playing shows with Squeegee Thieves.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, at the
And
same
this
time-
wasn't one of them, by the way.
right. Yeah, but
They weren't
Plastic
there.
Santa was around, and Three Creeks was around,
Yeah.
floating around and stuff like that. So
What I feel like
that was the beginning of kind of Oswego's like pretty incredible band scene.
And I feel compelled to say that the reason that there was a lot of reasons why I wanted to be in a band,
Sure.
obviously. But one of the biggest things was when I saw Three Crease play the year prior to me starting to play. I saw them play at Prairie Fest when it was behind Thompson.
Oh yeah.
Or Trauber, sorry.
Trauber, yeah.
It was behind Trauber. And they had the big stage and everything.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they didn't do again for like another 8 years or something, which was super annoying. Not Three Crease. I mean, like they didn't have a big
the
stage
Park
for like
District,
forever. But I saw them on stage and I was like, these guys are like my peers and they're fucking awesome and like I want to do that. Like that looks so cool and I think I can do that, so I will.
I feel like too. I don't know if you guys feel this way ever either, but there's something too about watching, like you said, your peers doing something, but like doing it at a level that you really respect, and still being like, "But you're just some asshole that I hang out with on the couch. Why are you so good at this?"
And I didn't even really hang out with them very much at the time. Like I knew Schmed, like we were
Yeah.
in school, but it was just like, this is awesome, and I want to do this. So
That is awesome.
okay, Squeegee Thieves though.
Yes.
So we played several shows with you guys. I can't remember exactly where, but I do remember the show.
We did do one of the Prairie Fests
Okay.
because it was when I first
Oh,
moved to
that's right.
Oswego.
Okay.
So were you
that's-
already going to school with us?
I came to Oswego freshman year.
Okay.
So-
that's when you would have started hanging out more regularly.
Yeah,
But
and
I
think
do
we played
remember-
some house parties and shit.
Yeah,
too.
didn't we play Dan Leeser's house?
Dan Leisure's
So
house
that
party.
was the show that Jason. Okay, so we played with Squeegee Thieves at Dan Leisure's house, and it was fucking awesome. He had that giant fucking slide and the pond and everything, and we were all having a badass time. And I think we were set up like right underneath the slide, like in between his house and the slide, so you
Close
could
to
like
it,
walk
yeah.
under it and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were playing there. I think you were there too, actually. And yeah,
Really?
Thieves. Yeah, I'm pretty
No
sure. you
way.
were.
No way.
That'd
He
be
had the
impossible.
huge like retention pond, right?
Oh,
that we
you might have been.
swam
That
in?
might have been
Yeah.
years later.
I remember
though.
visiting.
You
it.
lived
I
there
don't remember
years
if he
later.
played there,
Like-
though.
There's no way you were
No.
there when we
None
were
of
in
us
high
met
school.
you in
Yeah.
high school, did we?
No.
No.
I used to
No.
watch you guys.
He
I didn't know who I was, but I knew
was-
who you were.
No, I'm thinking of another Dan
Yeah.
Leisure party at
He
that
was there in
house
spirit, though.
where he was there. Yeah. Okay, so anyways,
I say he wasn't in tag along for fuck's sake.
this is the best part, and I hope I don't get you in trouble or anything.
Go ahead.
But
I'm an
after
adult.
we were done, so Squeegee
Look
Thieves
it.
played first.
Beer. Adult.
Squeegee Thieves played first, and then it was tag along at the time. Then, or wait, was it?
Yeah, because
we had so
Jimmy
many
wasn't
band-
in.
Oh yeah, no, it was tag along. Yeah.
What did
Jimmy
you-
was out.
I'll say, when did you guys switch
Yeah. Oh,
names?
that's right. We didn't talk about that.
We switched names when we brought Jimmy in, and we switched names when we brought Jimmy out.
Oh, what was
Oh,
the one
that's
you
right.
brought him in?
Ginger Snap and the Undershot Correction.
GUC.
Nice.
Yeah,
Jeez.
which is the worst
Holy
story
shit,
in
I
the
remember
world.
seeing
because
those float around. for a short
Undershot
time.
Correction, in my opinion, is one of our better names.
That's
Because
a great-
Undershot Correction
yeah.
is when a dog and their bottom teeth go like this.
Because Dan was working at
And
a
they're
vet
so
at the
cute.
time.
I was working at a vet, and there was procedures that could fix
Yeah.
their undershot. So I was
Nice.
like, Undershot Corrections.
Okay.
That's funny. And then Jimmy was like, well, my girlfriend calls me Ginger Snap. Maybe I could be like Ginger Snap in the Undershot Correction.
Yeah.
And we were like,
Like Gladys Knight in the.
I do love. I
Fine,
love
Buzz
Jimmy.
Killington.
That was a fun experience and everything. But yeah, the name Not so much.
Good thing it changed then when he left to
Yeah.
tag along.
Not before I spray painted that name on the side of my amp, though.
It was GUC then, right?
It was,
Like you,
yeah.
that's you did the
But it
acronym.
stayed tag along all the way up until until JJ shows up, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Before that, or yeah, but we'll get there.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a full breakup in between.
All right, so
there.
we're
Right,
tag
right.
along, and
Yeah.
we're tag along, and we're playing
Is it true that Jay Shortfigure named the band?
tag along.
Yeah.
Yep,
Who
that
the
is true.
fuck is Jay Schwartz?
Tell me that story. I don't remember that.
We were just knocking around names, and that was one he threw into the pile.
was a
and
Girl
Oh,
Scout
okay.
cookie.
we were like, "Yup."
Yeah. They were new that I believe that year. The tag along Girl Scout.
I thought it was a
cookies.
language.
Could be.
Mm.
Tagalog.
Oh, there you go.
Is that what you
Tagalog.
think? Nice work, Jake. Jeez.
A
Okay,
couple
so,
years of Tagalog in high school, right?
so Squeegee Thieves and tag along play at Dan Leisure's house,
Yeah.
and I think this is like the coolest thing. After we're done playing, because Squeegee Thieves played first, and then we played, headlined, if you will.
I will.
Jason came up to me and Dan and was like, "I want to be in your band." Straight up.
Nothing against.
And we were like,
fucking Squeegee
and that's
Thief
why I
boys.
said I didn't want
still
to
love
get you
them.
in trouble. But
It was a bitch going back and forth to Aurora all the time, and I believe I was starting to date girls in Oswego, so I was wanting to go to Aurora even less.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "You guys fucking ripped," and you guys played more of the faster shit that I wanted to play, like the more thrash punk, like at the beginning, and we were kind of more poppy ska stuff.
which I really liked.
Yeah.
From
But
Squeegee Thieves.
I was, I was
If any of the
skateboarder. I was
Squeegee
into the
Thieves,
faster
are li-
thrash. Fuck you, punk. So
Well, if any of the Squeegee Thieves are listening, that Cat Stevens cover y'all did was
That was
awesome.
badass. Yeah. Your best work. Except for, oh wait, no, I was thinking Aunt Martha, but that was a different band.
oh god, I wanted to be in that band too. I would have left that.
He said the same thing to Aunt Martha.
He's just putting them out everywhere. Any band you can see.
I wouldn't put it past him.
No,
"Come on."
But anyway,
John
we-
Egan is one of the
we-
best singer/songwriters ever.
We ended up taking him in.
Amazing.
And,
When I needed you the most.
and then that was badass. Then we had 4 members of Tag Along, and I don't know, what else do you want to say about
Dan
that
had to
time?
teach me how to actually play the guitar.
Yeah,
Dan was writing a lot of music. I
So
started
at
writing
that point, Jason was
music.
just doing rhythm guitar.
Still do.
Yeah, but you didn't sing in tag along.
No.
Later.
Just
yeah.
backgrounds and
Didn't
stuff,
you later?
like harmonies.
Didn't you do like local sellout
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Do we still
I-
do local sellout when we had Tag Along?
I think I just did backup shit.
I thought was there any screaming in Tag Along at all?
Just a little
Yeah.
bit, but yeah, we never.
A
That,
tasteful amount?
Yeah, but we all
Ooh,
kind of
people
did it
thought
together.
when they
yeah.
heard the tag along, they were like, "That screaming is very tasteful."
It must be Jason Carey.
Because now you don't have any training for real either, do you? Like as far as guitar playing or
No.
singing, because you've got a very distinctive voice also. And people that I know don't get it, but I think because I know you so well, I hear your voice
Yeah.
when I hear you sing.
It's funny, you said something on the way to Florida. You're like, "Man, we're just singing along with these songs." And you're like, "I think I'm doing really good." But then I stopped singing and I realized it's just you,
Yeah.
you singing really good.
Yeah, I was like, I thought I was
You're like, "We're
Yeah.
nailing this, dude."
I was upset. 'Cause I can barely talk, but it doesn't matter.
You and me together.
No, actually, I learned to sing by trying to mimic.
Yeah.
Like MXPX was huge for me.
so
So I
good.
tried as hard as I could to sound like Mike. And Les and Jake was huge for me, so I always wanted to sound like Roger or Chris.
Man, I wish anybody could sound like
Just
Roger.
like, so I would like sit there with like my hand cupped around my mouth so I could like it would echo my voice back into my ear.
Yeah.
And I would just try and get it right, like all day, like music in my car, full blast, just trying to hear myself blend with the music.
Yeah.
So
Now,
that's how I learned.
This iteration and run of tag along goes for how long?
Shit.
'Cause this went on for a few
I
years.
feel like it was like 7
I
years
think
or
this
something.
went in. I am pretty certain that this went into
Because this would have started
my
like,
Started-
freshman year of college.
what is this, sophomore year of high school when
Yeah,
it starts?
It was like the
Yeah.
beginning of
Well,
sophomore year.
sophomore year was technically burnt toast,
Yeah.
and that was probably
But I mean, like during
Would you
that
say
year,
year?
at least, like 99. So tag along's been around since 2000, we can say comfortably.
Yeah,
before that.
yeah, maybe 99. Yeah, something right around there.
And yeah, the actual times don't matter, but
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Either way, yeah.
And how long does that go then until?
no one's fact checking us.
No, yeah. Just please Wikipedia tag along.
If you can tell us, write in and let us know.
That had to go till at least 01, 02.
Yeah, yeah. It went until my skate park injury. actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. So this was a
Yeah.
turning point.
Yeah, so I ended up going to college in Naperville, so I could still travel, and I'm living there for school,
Yeah.
and I can still travel back
Jason
to
and I walked home
Oswego.
from there once.
I recall that.
I fell asleep there and got left.
Fell asleep.
You didn't get
close.
left; you got unfound.
I got, but then I got refound.
You were
That's true,
you were under a canoe behind a shed.
Yes, after playing on the radio, but that's another
Yeah,
story we
it
can
is.
tell later.
And you were drunk as a skunk.
On a monk.
But so yeah, at the time, so I moved out to Naperville and I started dating this girl, and they tend to take up a man's time, and we started playing together
It's
less
the
and less. And these guys can tell me about how it happened. But our friend JJ here, we met through another band called what were they called? What were you guys?
At the time, we were called Easy Way Out, and then
Easy
it was
Way
False
Out.
Intent after
And then it was,
that.
yeah, but Tag Along was practicing less and less because these guys were all getting to know each other and start playing together. And I remember distinctly calling Andy and being like, "Hey, buddy, I miss music. I miss Tag Along. I really want to get back into practicing regularly and writing music again. What are you doing later today?" And he's like, "I need a couple hours, and then come on over and we'll jam." And I'm like, "Cool. I'm going to go hit up the skate park while I wait for Andy to be ready for practice." And I ate shit, and I snapped my guitar playing finger right in half. Had to go to get it so I wrenched it back into place myself, and then I went to the doctors, and they were like, "Did you, like?"
Did you wrench this
I don't
back
think
together?
I don't think it's called.
Did you wrench
is
this
it
back
called
to place
relocating? Like I dislocated it and then relocated it.
I feel like that's if you found your finger.
He was like, "Yeah, because you broke the shit out of that knuckle when you relocated it because you did it all wrong."
You fucking idiot.
And so yeah, I was that was we were talking about this before we started recording the physical therapy and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was I had a non-bending index finger on my fretboard hand for like 6 months, and during that time, False Intent, in my opinion, it got really good. I really liked what False Intent did as much as
Is
it
that
pains
kind
me
of
to
a
say.
drifting apart there?
There was something else.
I'll say
I
that-
don't know if we've ever really
Said it out loud to each other, but I thought there was a specific thing that had happened.
Well, Marty had left the band, so that was a
Well.
big. We were going through bass players.
Yeah.
When I met you guys, it was Younger, I think.
Yeah. And
I
had
I
Lewis
saw you
for a
guys with
while.
Yunker at Kiss the Sky.
Yeah, and Lewis from Squeegee Thieves played
Yeah.
with us too
Lewis
for a
played
while.
with
That's
for a
right.
while.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And we're still playing a lot of shows. So like we're still playing shows. We did a show at Riley's with
Kiss the
I think
Sky.
Lewis and Yunker didn't, or it was Yunker at Kiss the Sky. Yunker was at Kiss the Sky. Lewis was at
Yeah.
what I just fucking say?
Riley's.
Riley's, yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's a Mexican restaurant. It's delicious.
Delicious.
So I think it's Jalisco's actually, but yeah. So we were going through bass players, but we were still playing shows, and we even put out like a flyer that was like, Tagalong's looking for a bass player, da, da, da. And then Yunker wanted to play with us, and that was cool. And I think the way I remember it was that you were just, Dan, it seemed like we were trying to practice, and you were busy, and there was a lot going on. And from what I recall, we weren't able to all get together.
Yeah, it was
And
really
it,
hard.
and it
to
was
get
a while.
4 people in a room together on one day. Was,
Yeah, and it
became
was a
really
while
hard.
that
Yeah.
was happening.
Yeah.
And then eventually we felt like maybe you just didn't want to do it anymore. I feel like that was what we thought, but I might be wrong about that.
I felt like you were taking badminton way too seriously in college.
You were fucking good at it, though.
I was like, this dude keeps blowing off band practice for badminton. It's blowing my mind.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's not true.
you were the baddest ass mitten player.
did-
You don't need 4 fingers for
I did
badminton,
earn
so it's perfect.
It is true that I earned college credit for badminton.
I think
No,
that's all we
is
need
it?
to know.
That's real?
No, that's real.
Really?
I
I
wasn't
wasn't
making
that.
that up. That's why I was looking for other avenues.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, though, like, the same thing kind of happened with
Dig
us
it.
and Yunker and AP, like, where it just feels like, all right, they're not, I can't get them to get
But
here.
I just want to clarify that it wasn't like, oh fuck, Dan broke his finger.
Right.
Fuck you.
You're
We're gonna
out.
go play this
You're
out
out.
band.
yeah.
No, it had
Yeah.
been an issue for a while, and I think when I called you that day,
And it wasn't your fault. It
no,
was just like,
it was the way stuff
Yeah,
works.
life
yeah,
is, yeah.
we just
But-
couldn't. We weren't connecting.
But yeah, I
time-wise.
tried to manufacture that moment where I was like, dude, I miss it. Let's have this be the new beginning,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I was like, okay, well, I'll just
Then you
skate for a bit
totally
before the new
Walshed it.
beginning.
Totally
Yeah.
Walsh. Walsh is a verb, bud.
And that's crazy.
I was hanging out with my Aurora friends again skateboarding a lot, and that brought me to JJ.
Yeah, so say, how did you guys hook up with False Intent originally there?
I was hanging out with Lewis and Anthony worked at Domino's, and that's when I met Elena. Elena
right.
took me to watch JJ practice, and I was like, well, shit.
And is that where you guys met Dan then?
Yeah.
yeah,
Dan
because it was
Fraser.
like
Not
me.
me.
Not Walsh.
Yeah.
I hadn't met anybody at this time. By
Yeah,
the
it was
way.
just me. I was
That
the
was
only
just so you
Jason
I was
did.
out
This
cruising
is all
for Boone or
Jason's
something.
fault.
Yeah, yeah.
one. I got taken over there.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, 'cause as I remember it was like we were doing our band thing, Easy Way Out, and it was like me and Dan were looking around for drummers, and we found Nick and Sean who were playing drum and bass at the time, and they were good, but they just
Sean
weren't.
was also, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sean was the drummer of Squeegee Thieves.
Yeah, that's
right,
crazy.
okay.
That
Oh,
was
sorry,
also
Nick
crazy.
was the drummer.
Nick, yeah.
Sean, yeah.
Yeah, Nick was the drummer, but we also played with you as tag along.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
you guys had changed your name again because bands always change their name like every 5 seconds.
Especially kids.
It's like a big
So
soap
we were
opera.
still tag along, but you guys were Eskimo
shit.
Sunburn.
no, that was something
No,
else.
he just looks like he has a sunburn
No, I swear.
because he's
looks like
really,
that.
really, really white.
I'm pretty sure
He gets
that.
really, really red real easy.
Well, maybe you weren't in the band then, but was Dan playing with Nick?
No, because it was me and him, and then we tried like it was kind of me and Dan for a bit,
Yeah.
and then like we were playing with my buddy Jeff for a while. That kind of fell apart. I probably should have tried to keep that together a little better because we were good friends, but water under the bridge.
Did,
but then we ended up meeting up with Nick and Sean, and then they were a pretty good fit for a while, but then it wasn't quite working. Like they were good musicians, but it wasn't quite fitting. And then we were like, so we were still kind of looking around, and then from the way I remember it, Jason came down with Eleno one day when we were practicing, and he was just like nodding his head a lot, like yeah, like this, and then we ended up playing
Like
that
what?
show together.
Like this.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great for the audio podcast. Cool.
Nodding your head.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like
Good.
this.
Okay.
I said nodding.
He did.
It's,
But,
that
We're
explains
just giving
all
you
of it.
shit.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
do.
And also, like with the nod, there's a frown, but it's like a frown of approval.
So, Jay,
I
did you
should
meet
be involved in
Dan
this.
through Elena too?
Or
Or-
it was through my brother actually. 'Cause
Oh, through
him
John.
and
Okay.
John were really good friends
Nice.
in high school, and then I might have actually started kind of. I think they drifted apart, and then like I came back together with him through Elena,
Okay.
and then because he was talking about playing music and stuff. I can't remember who was that whole bunch of people were. I mean, we all worked at Domino's at the time in Batavia,
Yeah.
so like we were all kind of mixing and matching. But
Yeah, Sean and Nick worked at.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you guys don't remember that they were called Eskimo Sunburn and that we
we just
definitely
never-
played
That
with them
sounds
at
like a
Kiss the
completely
Sky?
made up name.
It's not Nick.
no, I remember that. Name.
I've got the flyer.
No, I remember that name, but I think it was
And
a different
and I
band or
remember it
something.
because we played with Nick, and Dan was there, and I'm pretty sure he was in the band.
What do you
Not
think,
Dan
Matt?
Walsh, Dan Prazel.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he was in the band, and we played with him. And then afterwards,
Eskimo Summer. it sounds like a
doesn't
different.
no,
sound
not
like something
Eskimo
you guys
Summer,
watch.
Eskimo
No,
Sunburn.
it's Sunburn.
That's come on, summer.
No,
Put
no,
your
it's-
hat
Eskimo
back on. It looks
Brothers.
like you were out in the sun.
JJ looks like a skeleton that somebody hung their skin on.
Only when I take
If
my
it had
hat
a
off, okay?
giant boner and you wanted to have sex with it,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
And
get
just
it.
like that.
That's where he was.
So specific.
That's where he was going with that.
But JJ, what about your training as far as because you play guitar on a whole other level?
He's really good.
Like, yeah, it's like it's upsetting to watch, honestly. But
I
like,
enjoyed it.
Did you have formal training or you just pick
It was
up?
a mix. Yeah, I did have some. It was because I started off just playing on my own. Basically, what happened was my brother got a guitar for Christmas, but it was like 2 years after he had asked for it, so he took some lessons and kind of dropped it. So I took it out of his room and started playing it. And then at that time, I was starting to get into the ska punk stuff,
Yeah.
and there were, I could go out on AOL and on the internet and get like tabs for Less Than Jake. I remember grabbing like tabs for Less Than Jake, Real Big Fish, Suicide Machine, stuff like that, and then started picking up some of the basic chords. And then like the way I remember it, I kind of got a little discouraged after a while because you hit like that plateau kind of early, and like
Still
I was
there.
yep. And then like
Got 'em.
I think the next year I ended up there was this dude that was like in our high school that was friends with my buddy Jeff, who was in the band for a little bit. But this dude Craig that played guitar was just absurdly good. Like I would walk into practice sessions or like walk into to go get a lesson from him at the local music store, Instrument Exchange, and then I'd walk in there. He'd just be like ripping some Van Halen, like as I walk in, and then like he was in a band that would just break out Freebird or whatever, and he'd just be like ripping. He's like a sophomore in high school, And so I learned from him quite a bit. I was like, and since he was just like a high school kid that like knew what it was like to just be a young dude wanting to play the guitar, he was like, what do you want to learn first? I'm like, soloing. Like anybody that like some dude in their 40s would be like, no, you got to learn 4 chords first. He's like, all right, let's break out the pentatonic scale. I'll teach you that. And I'll teach you how it kind of starts going together in some songs. And I was like, all right. And then I was pretty bad about getting to practice on time and doing that stuff. So it didn't last like that long, but that was where I kind of got the, the training as to pentatonic scale, which is mostly what I use to this day. And then, so yeah, I did get some training as far as like at a music shop with a dude that was
It's
really
one of those things too where it's like when you're not a musician, you're just impressed. But when you're a musician, you're like, hey, just using that scale. Like me, it's all just octaves, but it sounds cool.
I remember there was a band that I talked to. Who was that?
Tim doesn't like when songs randomly go willy willy woo.
I don't like when it doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
We
the
got an
same way.
argument about
When
it
it's
like
like
2
off,
weeks ago.
it's off time and goes, and then back to the normal thing. I don't like that at all.
No,
Trying to
I'm
show
with
him
you.
some
The
amazing
guitarist.
guitar playing. He was like, no way. He's like, this is not
It's amazing
good.
guitar playing for sure, but it sounds bad.
I know what you're talking about. We're like, it's like virtuoso level, but it doesn't fit the song.
Yeah,
And
like
you're
they're
like,
doing it just to put it in the song.
Yeah.
Like the song didn't need that.
yeah, it
Sounds
should
cool.
it should
I
suit
mean,
the
it-
song.
I have a simple mind, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Very-
Simple Jason.
But yeah, so I got training with that. Oh yeah, when where I was going with that was it Counterpunch that we played with in Naperville that one time? I forget. It was,
Eskimo Sunburn.
Where at?
like it was a basement show.
Oh, that's very specific.
No, it was one of the few basement.
We only played like 300 of
That
those.
was actually it was like the only time we played at this one. I forget, but
Was
it
it
was
a house show?
Do you have the
yeah, it was
address?
a house show.
We,
It's the only
it was
time
a
we
girl
played
you
at
went
this
to
house.
school
You have the
with.
flyer?
Swing by and ask.
I think it was her graduation party or something.
Oh yeah, something like that. And then we, but yeah, we were playing with one of those bands, and I was like, "You
Yeah.
guys are fucking ripping it." And the one
I
dude
think
was
that might
like,
have been
Counterpunch does that.
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, you guys
Either
fucking
of
rip it."
them
And he
or-
was like, "Oh, it's just like palm muting and pinch harmonics." He's like, "We just do a lot of squealies, and it sounds kind of cool." I was like, "I like it."
And you're like, that's right. That does sound awesome. I will now do that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that brings in
Let's look
JJ. So, like you said, Jason met all those guys, and Dan's kind of naturally pulling back into his thing and his funny injury.
They look a college boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Meanwhile,
my
I feel like
girlfriend that nobody liked.
I have now met Matt.
I don't think that's true.
No,
yet.
on a sidebar at Guitar Center.
You
I
were
think.
jumping.
I don't know if that's true.
Oh, actually, you were
Might be
working.
close.
I started
you were
working at Guitar Center
But
as soon as we.
secretly, I want to talk to Matt the most.
Yeah, but he's.
But like, I gotta get through you assholes.
You have to be
first.
patient.
Are you
And
even
that's
gonna
gonna be like a while.
Are you even gonna be able to
the
hear his
worst
words
part.
through that thick beard?
Bro, I can't even believe he's here. I'm so excited.
I mean, really, as soon as we get to the point where I'm playing bass, I can shut up.
Yeah, thank goodness. But even before that, Jason plays bass in.
What'd you do that for?
I
False
turned it
Intent.
down because there's
Yeah.
a fucking ad. We're watching YouTube, like
For
very,
ambiance?
a very
Cozy
nice
cabin
ambiance
ambiance.
thing, but the fucking ads keep coming on,
So this is the third time Wash has done this, and every time like we don't need the background.
and I keep turning down the
Keeps
volume, and
going
then
to
Jason's
ads.
like, "Why are you turning up the or why are you turning down the volume?"
This asshole did the same thing on his episode.
We're gonna
He's like,
listen back. It's gonna only be
it was a
fireplace the whole
Harbor
time
Freight
for an
commercial.
hour. Like
We
It
said
was
not pick up our voices at
tools,
all.
Wasn't even
Goddammit.
recording the whole time.
Just birds and fire.
I said that before you got here. JJ was like, "Just do a line out from the TV, so it's the fire the
Yeah.
whole time."
Also, before False Intent, it was called The Program.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
for like
Easy
a
Way
couple
Out.
weeks.
Yeah,
The only album I have
I like the
is
program way better. We
That's
should
what
have
I
kept that
said.
name.
Yeah, it was a better
It's
name.
way better.
But Nick and
You hate it.
the other
The
guy was
Program?
in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's False Intent is an awesome name.
No, it's not.
No, it's stupid.
Like we come from very different. Like
The
my
Program
band was
was a great
absolutely
name,
perfect.
and it was
I get
fitting.
it. That's not a great name.
Get with the program.
Now that's awesome.
Yeah, you see, we could have done that. It could have been a tagline.
I would pronounce it.
Program it up your
But I-
ass, asshole.
That is
Program it up your ass.
Program
that
it
rolls
up your
off
I think the problem
rolls off
was
the tongue even
though
better.
is that the other guys were in that band, and we didn't want any ill feelings for sure. And I love, I
with
love
Sean
Nick.
and Nick. Yeah.
So when it shuffled members, it was like we might as well
Yeah.
change the name
Well, it wasn't might as well. It was like we should change the name
because you guys only ever released those 2 songs.
yeah, we recorded some more, but
I think we recorded 4, but we put out a 2-song demo
And that
because
was
we were trying to get.
Yeah,
the
I still have the
Warped
actual
Tour
CD. It's handwritten the program on.
shit. Yeah, we were shopping around to do like Battle of the Bands and stuff.
Wait, it had the name of the program on
Yeah,
it?
I never had a false intent CD. It was the program.
Yeah, I've still got a program
our
CD
stuff?
in
Not
my-
for nothing. I get
Yeah,
it directly
it had, like,
from
a
you.
little neon green
So like
label
that
on
probably
it.
wasn't
Yeah.
when it went out to everybody else.
Yeah, I have one in my sleeve that says the program. Like my,
Were
my
we
CD book.
when we were in the band though? Was it called the
Yeah.
program?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that
Was that the name
I think
before
it was the
then?
name we were.
You guys recorded as
I want to
that.
say we used that name when we played that ISU show.
Yeah, when we played with Alistair.
Wait, was
Yeah,
that the name
that's
of the band before me and Jason joined then?
I think it was Easy Way Out, and then we went to the program.
Why the fuck did we change that?
I don't know.
That's the best name ever. And not to mention too, or I guess I am
I
mentioning
think
it, but the
Dan
other
wanted
reason
to
that's
change it because
that-
I think it was too on the nose.
well, that's no, it's not. It's awesome.
Is he just right on the
Because
nose?
Dan was in the program, he
That's
was
why
in
we called
AA.
it that, yeah.
But that makes it even cooler. It's like a double meaning.
Yeah.
Plus,
It was a
you could
better
say
name.
get with the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or program it up your ass.
Well, that's what we did
I like
wrong.
that.
We're circling back around. I like this.
So we
I'm
call
going
it
to say this
callback.
until it starts working.
That's what we did wrong.
But yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So, what was the question?
But there's a change there also. So once the program eventually becomes false intent,
Yeah.
There was no
So-
change with that though. That was just a name.
well, there,
change.
but
It
there
was
was a
just a name
change
change.
as far as lineup because
There's a momentum
now
change, too.
JJ's in the band, Dan's out. It was still Andy, Jason,
No, actually, it
No.
was because it was basically we took half of two bands and put it together.
right,
Yeah.
to make one band.
Yeah, but we
And
were
then
still the
from then on,
program.
it was the
Apparently, I
same.
didn't realize that.
But JJ's on leads. Dan Praise was playing rhythms and singing,
Yep.
and Jason played bass.
Yeah.
You.
And I remember, yeah. and Andy was still playing drums, and you still did backups and such.
Yeah, that was
Played electronic drums.
That's
for
true.
for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Until I realized that it wasn't going to work, and I went to Aurora Earth Mover Bank. Shout out.
There's the big money.
And I got a fucking personal loan to buy a drum set.
Yeah,
And then we went to Sam Goody.
yeah.
Not
Sam
Sam Goody,
Ash.
that's Sam Ash, you're right.
Ash, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Sam
this
Goody's
time-
a CD store
That's
from
right.
the 90s.
At this time, also, you were
Sam
starting
Ash.
to record because
Well,
you
we were already recording, so we recorded
Right.
that demo or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that was on my digital 12 track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with my V drums.
So you
Yeah.
recorded AP's first album also at the house on those electronic drums.
Jay played the electronic drums?
He did.
My electronic drums?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And then I
back
think
in,
you guys
like,
promptly
04.
Even though you told him not
decided to go re-record it somewhere else.
No, that was the Orange album.
Oh, okay.
Has that
Has the V drums?
Now
on it?
whose
Yeah.
memory sucks, loser?
as far as I know. Oh, you know what? You're right. We did a demo first of a couple of songs, and then you're right. We did it proper at my brother's house in Sandwich.
That's when I
where
brought my
that's
shit.
when you brought all your stuff.
That's when I
Carrying
got-
all that shit down those fucking
Oh yeah,
stairs.
that
dude.
was a bitch.
That's when I got
I
all
wasn't
my
even in your
stuff.
stupid band. I had to fucking haul gear.
But
Yeah.
before I
That's
had
friends, bro.
before I had all that recording stuff though, I
Yeah.
just had the V drums and we were recording on JJ's 4-track.
Yeah.
But then shortly after that, my grandpa actually died like a long time prior to that, and there was a lawsuit involved
Thank
because of
God,
the
right.
retirement home that he was at whatever, like neglected
Yeah.
him. But they won the lawsuit, and then like I got some money from that, like
settlement,
as a
yeah.
grandson,
Sure.
and I invested in a bunch of recording equipment. And so when I got that, that was, I can't remember if I had gotten rid of the V drums yet at that point, or if I still had them. But definitely in False Intent, I remember going to Sam Ash and picking out like a Pearl Export. It was
Yeah.
orange. It was awesome.
Those are my favorite ones you've
And I got Peisty Signature Series cymbals, and I stuck with those. I still play those today. I love those.
Yeah. Do you say
It's Peisty?
Deebs, do you say
Yeah.
Peisty?
It's Peisty.
Pasty? I like
I
pasty,
say-
like
I
nipple.
saw. I,
I
I
say
thought it was
pasty.
pasty.
I
That's
always
what
thought so, too.
that's what the inexperienced non-musicians
Take it easy.
say.
Yeah. Also, paste is kind of fun. Just paste.
Yeah, like put in your mouth.
Paste symbols. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to eat paste
See?
We
Told
know.
you.
and draw with it.
We know, buddy.
Shit, that was fast.
No, I think the actual
He's eating paste now,
pronunciation
right now. Put it away.
I think the actual pronunciation is
Should I take this
Peisty.
phone call?
No.
I'm just saying.
Depends on who
Hi,
it
you're
is.
live on
It's
air.
true.
Draw,
Drew.
really?
Yeah.
I feel like he never calls.
He calls me all the time.
Oh, and while
He
we're,
kisses me every day.
while we're talking about podcast etiquette, should I just be drinking like this?
Yeah. If you could, ooh, yeah, good. If you could do that into the mic, that'd be great.
Yeah. So okay,
That's
so
what
I
made me
bought
forget
the
where I am.
drums, and where are we at then? So we're
Got the pubes.
We're false intent.
You give me the
And then
money.
I give you the pews, and then you give me $10.
Yeah. Yeah. So you went back to the
So I
acoustic set.
went back to the acoustic thing, which, by the way, was crazy. Like going from electronic drums back to acoustic. I remember that
You played the shit out of them,
it was
Yeah.
so exhausting, though.
dude.
Like
was so
moving
different.
back, like I just remember like being so much more tired
Yeah.
after
Well, your
a short
style
amount
is
of
very
time.
aggressive. I gotta
Yeah.
imagine that because you don't want to beat the shit out of an electronic hit like that. So
mean,
it's
right.
got to
Shit
be
out of
quite
that,
a
too.
yeah. It's got to be quite a difference going back to an acoustic and be like, all right, I want to hit these now.
Yeah, oh, that's the biggest thing I remember
Square
specifically as being exhausting. Like
Yeah.
it was a lot more tiring. But you know, after you do it for a little bit, then you build up the stamina, and then it's fine.
Stamina.
Plus, the electronic kit is so just like tight knit,
That's what
right?
DLT
You can
calls
just like
it.
bop on
Stamina.
everything so easily. You can like have it so close, compact.
Well, and it's so
You can just
bouncy.
navigate very easily.
The,
Yeah, and it,
the rebound from a drum head versus like a mesh head on an electronic kit is obviously
Yeah.
significantly different.
Does
Like
it make you feel like you played a little lazier on the electronic kit?
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you definitely, without a doubt, exerted less energy.
it's kind of cheating,
Because-
right?
I don't think it's cheating. I think it's just a lot of cheating.
If that doesn't sum up Andy and his philosophies,
It's like bumpers at the bowling alley, right?
yeah. I don't like when you said it was cheating.
Yeah.
But it's like cheating.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Can you edit that?
We'll get that in
Just
post.
skip to him saying it's cheating.
Make me say it's cheating like more times, like 5 more times.
Cheating.
No, it is. It is. 'Cause, like, but I mean, you still have to have rhythm, and you still have to. There's still finesse, and
We're
like
still
you-
drums guys.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
discounting that. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, you guys have. Don't you have an electronic kit? And JJ has one now. You know,
I
but,
don't.
but neither of you are good. So.
I don't own a kit. I don't play drums.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think anybody that's ever worked.
You'll
at
find out
Guitar
later I
Center-
play guitar. Stay
probably
tuned.
because
We'll
of
get
that.
there.
That'll be
In
an
a few
episode 2.
years.
Man, if you could just wait in the bathroom,
Be
that'd be great. But so False Intents are only on for a few years, actually. They're not.
Not even 2 years.
But even in those 2 years, you guys played some pretty impressive shows.
Yeah.
'Cause it's false intent
Only
that-
because Dan had connections.
Well, right. So Dan.
That's not true. We
I
won
think
Battle
it
of the
was.
Bands.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
But I mean,
Whooped
how did you
everyone's
get into
ass.
the Battle of Bands?
I submitted us.
It's
That'll do it.
well,
Yeah,
it
and
was
then
also
Dan made a phone call probably.
I wonder about that, but it was also the year when you didn't have to have any kind of following. There was no voting. There was just like judges, and so you uploaded a file that had like studio quality drums because of the V drums. And it probably sounded a lot better than the recordings of the other stuff.
That's probably true.
But
I
we
don't
did
think
beat
it
out
did.
like.
Well,
they
not
said,
to
like,
you.
I think the
something
V drums
bands.
did not sound very
Yeah, I
good
listen
at
to
all.
most of our recordings. I'm like, ugh. But like other people are like, this sounds like professional. I'm like, we're a real fucking band. What do you mean? So, but you guys played Warped Tour
Yeah.
as False Intent.
I'd like to think that we got there on our merit, and maybe we did. The song,
They were catchy.
one of the songs
Yeah.
that JJ and Dan wrote, Dan Prazel wrote, was "Take Me Home."
Yeah,
and
which
that
is a
song,
great song.
that song was really good, and I still think it's really good, and it was very catchy, poppy,
Yeah.
but still like aggressive.
I'd be curious
And-
what your guys' opinion is versus like False Intent versus what Short of All is going to become, and kind of because like Tag Along was pretty poppy also and catchy.
I feel like
False
it
Intent was,
wasn't-
but
I guess
Short
that's
of
what you
All
mean
I
by
don't
poppy.
feel like is. I
No,
don't feel
yeah,
like it's
Short of All
that.
definitely wasn't as poppy as Tag Along, I would say.
no.
Do you feel like you really matured like into the kind of musicians you always wanted to be in Short of All?
Well,
It became what I wanted to be.
yeah, Short of All was like, 10,000 times better than False Intent, for sure. Dan might not
I
say
might be
that,
the only
but-
one that disagrees with that.
Well, that's because you were writing the
You're
songs
insane.
and you're being humble, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it was 1,000 times better. And yeah, we learned a lot with that. It got me
Sound
back.
rando.
It got me back to acoustic drums, which was
Yeah.
a huge thing.
So because
And,
really,
uh,
I mean, whatever show I just said, what was it?
Warped Tour.
Nailed it. Warped Tour.
Tim's never been there. Apparently.
Yeah, I've been to.
It's
Warped
turned to
Tour.
shit, by the way. Just
That's
so you know.
true.
It's
Yeah.
gone.
I was going to say, by turn
Yeah.
to shit, did you go to like? Did somebody get you to buy tickets last year? Or?
Oh no, I never
Gone for a
Showed
while.
up at a-
I haven't been in decades because it turned to shit.
Yeah.
But that was basically the
played
big
some shows,
to
did
do
some shit.
is that, and then what happened with False Intent as far as It just ran its course, or
Oh no!
Oh, it sure did.
I don't. There was some fallout
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Boy.
with you particularly.
I don't know if you want to tell that or should I? Or
You might even say there was some false intent from some of the members.
Oh,
Bam!
Hi-oh.
Boom! There you go.
Well, I don't know. How much do we want to say about
Jason's
that?
already told this
Oh,
story
yeah, I told
in
it
its
on
full
mine.
on his episode. So
Okay.
If you
well,
want to
then
tell
let me.
your,
but it'd be
tell
nice
your
to-
version,
yeah,
of
it'd
it.
be
let
nice
me
to have your
recap.
You're the
perspective.
first-hand versions.
Yeah.
That's right. I was involved. Okay, so I had gotten the recording equipment legit, and then I
Whatever
was.
home.
Whatever that
Well, yeah,
means.
what does that mean, Andy?
Legit.
Well, what that means is that money was given to me by my grandfather, and but also
Only
at the
cost him
time
his
I
life.
was making some money that might not have been quite as legitimate, and
You're a businessman. We already know they used to burn CDs and stuff like.
yeah,
You're a
exactly.
smart
I was
kid.
already breaking the law.
If you break one, why not do them?
Also, isn't there such thing as statute of limitations or
Well, I
something?
should say.
Yeah. Anyways, I was making some money and investing it in the band,
Right.
and I bought more and more and more equipment. And also, I was recording people.
Yeah.
Also, because I did you guys, I did
Capital I.
Schmed's band, I did
Capital I. That was that local.
yeah
band.
Capital
None of
I,
them were
which
They were
was
really good
awesome.
too.
Through their windows.
Yeah. And I did several other bands too, so I was making some money.
Yeah.
But I was also making some money in a way that wasn't completely legitimate. And Dan,
It's legal now.
at the
Are
time,
you selling your body, buddy?
I'm not disclosing the exact thing. You
It's
have
already
to go
been
listen to
disclosed.
Jason's
Listen
episode.
to Jason's episode. He just throws it all out there.
But
Yeah, fuck this guy.
but
and his kid's future and all that.
but Dan, I feel like I shouldn't keep saying his whole name, but like I need to distinguish him between Dan Walsh.
I'm under the impression that there, despite what might have happened, there's no ill will.
Yeah, just
I'm-
change the tone.
yeah.
I'll be.
Oh, there
Dan.
was.
I'll be
No, there was
Dan.
ill will.
Well, yeah, it's a time from you, but like when Jason and I can talk about him because and I've played with him years later.
about we do this?
He showed up at a friend of mine's house and we jammed.
Let's do this.
I don't care now.
When you're talking about this Dan, say Dan.
Dan.
When
Well,
you're
this
talking
is
about the other one,
Walsh.
just say Dan.
Dan.
No, I want to be
Well,
regular.
well,
Dan.
remind me, you
This
guys,
sounds confusing.
you
to
guys,
viewers.
you guys.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Look
remind
how much
me-
we're pissing off Tim.
Yeah. So remind me that this is Walsh.
Yeah, this is Dan.
Dan is Dan.
Well,
This is
no,
Dan.
but this is Dan. I've
The
known
other
him
one
since
is
kindergarten. I'm
Dan.
gonna fucking call him Dan.
Daniel?
All right. I'm just gonna say because I've already
Danielle.
said Dan Prazel several times.
Who?
That's
Dan Prazel. Who? Dan
Never mind.
Prazel.
Who the
Spell
fuck
it?
is that?
Yeah. And by the way, I don't
Use
have
that in a sentence.
Dad's
don't-
pretzels.
Dan's pretzels. I don't have any ill will, but he basically and I do understand it.
Right, he had to make
He
a
didn't
decision
like
at that time.
He didn't like the fact that I was making some
Side
money illegitimately because it also involved his world because
Sobriety.
he
You already
his
just said he was in
sobriety
the program, yeah.
and he had a sponsor who happened to be one of my biggest idols, which was John Feldman
Yeah.
from Goldfinger.
Or as we call
And
him, John.
supposedly, and I don't know if I believe this or not, but I've been telling people, so I guess I do, that supposedly John Feldman told him to replace me
Yeah.
and find a different drummer because I was, he shouldn't be around that. Even though
You were a detriment.
I was, first of all, always been a nice guy, safe guy. Shut up.
Yeah. I don't know if it
and-
counts when you
and I
call
wasn't
yourself a
doing
nice guy.
anything-
Just prove your point.
I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was literally putting all of the money into the band.
Yeah.
Like I bought a PA system and,
And
some
we
other
had the
things.
van.
So like it was all for the band, and yeah. So he basically. Well, JJ can take the story on from here because then,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to me,
Yeah, basically we started looking around. Like when he brought it up that he didn't like all that of what Andy was doing, I was like, I don't think it's a big deal, and I don't think it's going to go places that you think it's going to go. And he was like, I've dealt with this before, and I was like, all right, I haven't. I'll
So Dan was kind of under the impression that this was like step one to a
or
bigger
that like
problem.
some other or that other people might get involved that it's going to go somewhere darker, but it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
But that was kind of his take on it. And so
he
when
did mention to me that he was afraid that his guitar or his effects would get stolen. I was like, bitch, I've got like $20,000 worth of equipment right here,
Yeah.
and I'm not fucking worried about
That sounds
it.
like a previous member of the other band that might have been the one to steal stuff. But go on.
Right.
But yeah, when he kind of came to me with that, and he was like, I think we should go looking for another drummer and bass player. I was like,
So he already considered them a package deal.
yeah, because we knew those guys were old friends,
Right.
and
So if
it
you're
was
gonna kick
they were a
Andy,
package
you're gonna
deal. It
lose
was
Well,
like,
that's funny
And we were
because
in
that's what happened in the first place,
Really?
right?
Yeah.
Well, because me and Jason came
Yeah.
in because they were replacing the bass player and the drummer.
yeah,
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
so yeah, and it's kind of like
Ah,
I
the
was like, maybe we could just
turntables.
replace one or the other, and he was like, they're best friends from like way back. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it wasn't gonna work out.
Yeah.
We figured Jason was gonna tell us to fuck off if we got rid of Andy, so we probably would have.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he
And so-
didn't think was
How
that
the exact
JJ was
words.
going to tell him to fuck off.
And basically, like, I didn't have that much of a backbone about it. I was like, I don't think we should do that. We found these
Pretty
really
shitty.
No, it's like we found these dudes that fit in the band really well. And we have a great fucking time all the time. Like this is what I'm trying to do in a band. Like I want to
We all
have
got
friends that we-
girlfriends together. Remember that?
And I was the last one.
We were all dating girls that were friends. Oh.
It was a magical time.
And then like, so when he said
Not
that,
JJ though. He was
Yeah.
cranking it still.
As we established earlier, JJ eventually just gets married.
Yeah.
He only has the sex twice for those kids, and then skeleton.
checks out. I mean, I cannot prove otherwise.
I can.
So anyway,
JJ, do you ever wonder what your life would have been like if you would have stayed with what you were doing
With the band and stuff.
with Dan?
Yeah, I thought about that, and
You would have stopped playing a lot sooner.
Yeah.
actually, that crossed my mind. Like, that all definitely crossed my mind as soon as like I was making all those decisions and
Yeah.
ended up going and doing things with these guys. And actually, there was a lull between bands where we were just like, "Fuck it, let's just hang out." And,
Because there's still a little time before Walsh comes back.
That's
to the
actually a good
picture.
story,
Also-
too.
Yeah.
not to put a knot on Dan Prazel, but I feel like you fit in with me and Andy a little more.
Yeah, that
like
was my-
personality wise.
yeah, and
Like
actually,
because we're big fucking nerds.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
I
will
would like
say-
to reiterate too, because
Dan
I know
was
Dan
always
also.
cool.
Dan's a good dude. Like,
Yeah, he was
I
cool as
understand
shit.
whatever happened, and that's
Well,
where he was at that time.
And I want to make
But
it
he's a
clear
good dude.
too. I want to make it clear too that like there's definitely no ill will.
Yeah, no animosity
It actually
whatsoever.
worked out for the best because that's
Well,
I wanted to be with.
He went off and got famous.
I
for a
wanted to
while.
be with
Yeah.
Dan.
He, was
Dan's my fucking
he went off and was in
kindergarten
Trinity
buddy.
Paris
I
and
wanted to be
shit.
with
Yeah.
him from the beginning.
Yeah.
So
He
He
did pretty well.
He did
for
great.
himself,
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, what
and we got JJ out of the deal. So
Yeah, exactly. And basically, what happened on my side was like when he told me that, I was like, I don't think we're gonna, do better than this, and I don't think what is going on is that big of a deal. And he kind of disagreed, and basically, I kind of went along with. He said he wanted to go start talking to other drummers, and we had done that search before
Yeah.
and landed on these guys, and I was like, part of me in the back of my head was like, you know what, we'll go through the rigmarole, and he's going to figure out that we're not going to do fucking better than Andy. He's fucking great, and so, and he's also an awesome dude, and so we're just going to end up back in that spot. So all right, yeah, do your thing, get it out of your system, and then like very quickly, Andy gets word very fast about what's going on, and
because I was dating one of the girls that you
Yeah.
guys are dating,
Yeah.
and one of the
And
girls talked.
The girls talked. They told me, and I called you right away.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you guys told me thankfully right away, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this shit, I'm out." And I went. I was keeping my drums at
Yep.
the practice space,
Yeah.
and I went there and I picked them up,
Yep, and grabbed a bass amp too.
grabbed all that shit, and then came home.
Yeah, because I got that call from Dan. He's like, Andy just came and picked up all the gear. I was like, oh. And so then that was like pretty much forced the decision pretty quick. I mean, I was just like, then I ended up.
You're like,
meeting up-
I'm gonna follow the gear.
No, it was more like he was. Part of what went through my head was, he's gonna keep replacing people until he finds like the exact match he wants,
Yeah.
and like he was very much on a career path with music,
Sure.
and I could respect that, but I also felt
I
like
got the burps.
it put the thought in the back of my mind, like, am I going to be the next one on the chopping block?
Right. Just
And
a matter of
so-
time, right?
And so
I don't know, man. You're really good.
I thought maybe you were like, maybe I don't want a career in music. I'm going to go play with these guys.
No, it was
But there's
more
a
like,
difference, though, right? Between all right, you're
I'm
career
known for
business
bad
minded,
decisions.
to whereas we're musicians.
yeah, for me, like I want to be a musician, but also enjoy what I'm doing every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, I want to go do this and have fun. If it doesn't turn out to be, you know, the big time, but I had like, you know, years of just, you know, playing end zone shows, what it turned out to be. Like, if
Right,
it's
yeah.
just years of just playing bar shows and having a great fucking time, then
Right.
yeah, that's a good way to spend my 20s. So,
Yeah.
like, that was kind of my thought on it. And then also, like, I had to make a decision quick, and like, I just really liked hanging out with these dudes, and so I had that thought of maybe being on the chopping block later, and like, also, you know, I feel like we all keep saying, you know, water under the bridge. None of us has any animosity, but I'm also like going to be talking a little bit of shit. But I felt like
You wrote a whole song
Bro,
about it.
Yeah.
whole song.
I
You
did.
made me
It's
sing.
great. It never got released, but I got it. It's
Yep.
almost complete. There's just one little spot that I fucked up in. Otherwise, it would be released.
But yeah, like, and so he had also,
Oh, wait. No, it is released.
It is,
It's
yeah.
on Spotify.
yeah, it's on Spotify.
Say-
That's right.
He said,
Take your
but
16-year-olds
yeah, he
too,
was-
bro.
Looks like I'm going to have to shit in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lyric that JJ wrote.
the funny part
He
is,
made me sing that
Yeah.
in front of hundreds of tens
Okay,
of people.
so now you're going to
gonna say.
sing, looks like I'm going to have to shit in your mouth.
Yeah. To be fair, it's one of you guys' most popular songs.
and and actually, the funny part about that too is I was already
Yeah.
over it. Because by the time we even like released anything or were writing songs,
Yeah.
like it was a good 6 months to a year before any of us we were just like playing Halo and like drinking beers for like a year,
Right.
just hanging out. Cause,
Hell yeah, dude.
And then
In between?
Still doing
In
it.
between was not a year.
it wasn't.
No.
It was pretty
I
quick.
And there's
think it might have
nothing
been.
sad
You
about
guys
that
started
at all.
playing before that.
No,
I
because
thought.
we started plotting a little bit about getting you back in.
Yeah,
the mix.
yeah, but I don't think it. I feel like
me-
it was just months, maybe
The
6 months.
timeline is
tops.
way
I don't think it
smaller
was
than
a
I
year.
realized from False
Three was
Intent to
worth it.
Short
I
of
feel
All.
like-
What I
we
can
do.
say for
believe
sure is
was
that
me,
tag along existed in
Jay.
my sophomore year of
Jay
college,
went to
Yeah.
his
and
school.
we got
Jay,
back
shut up.
together
Oh,
in my
that's right.
senior year.
You shut
Yeah,
up.
it was
Maybe-
short.
Fuck that guy.
So False Intent's
I mean, we
total
established
time
that,
was
right?
less than 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I joined in with Dan when I was 19, and by 20, it was all over.
Yeah,
And then, but it was,
that makes sense.
yeah, it was a good quick run with like, it seems like longer because we played a lot of cool shows. Like,
Oh, we did play a show with Alistair, which was awesome.
yeah, that was
At a
in-
house party at,
Yeah,
at a
at
college
ISU.
in
Their
a
bass
college
player
town.
Yeah.
hated me
That was awesome.
Really?
because I had to use his gear. Remember?
Oh yeah,
I got
but-
to
well,
play on the
we-
guy's
we-
pork pie drum set. That
We
was
flip
neat.
flopped it because
Mickey.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
one of their guys ended up using my amp,
Nice.
and he was like, "Can I touch the knobs?" I'm like, "Yeah, it'll probably make it sound
Yeah.
better."
You're like, you'll never be anything, slacker. Don't touch my knobs.
So that was the end of that.
Yeah. So then, how does Walsh get back into the picture?
Well, so we kept JJ basically, right?
Right, yeah.
I've never told you this, but you remind me a lot of my Aunt Shirley.
I can see
What?
that. Yeah.
All right,
He looks just like
I'm gonna
First off, no, thank you.
I'm going to get through this story
Appreciate
quick. My grandpa's brother, so my great uncle, married a woman named Shirley. They got divorced, and after the divorce,
Shirley, you're
the
joking.
entire
She became
Walsh family
JJ.
was like, okay, like y'all are getting divorced. That's cool, but we're keeping Shirley.
Oh.
And so, like, I have
I
an
get it.
aunt who was the not blood related, and the
Yeah.
blood related uncle fucked off.
Nice.
And, so yeah, we kept JJ.
Nice.
Or as we
Uh,
called him,
so-
new school.
But I was not having
Rookie,
any
yeah.
part of it at this point because I was scorned. I was
Yeah,
like,
so you're
I
still
don't.
pissed off about
Oh, yeah.
how it all went down.
Well, not just that. I'm
And
like,
you
I
went down
don't.
it.
I don't want to fucking
drug
play music
induced
anymore. I'm
coma.
tired of this shit.
Really?
Like,
You feel
yeah,
a fit proper, right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I said like I don't want to play music, but I said like I don't want to be in a band anymore.
Yeah.
I don't
You
want to deal
denounced
with this
Christ.
shit. And I was done for that time.
Yep.
And
And they
then-
knew that. They knew that.
Yeah.
And so when they came to me about, hey, we want to get this thing going, and we
Yeah.
think this
So
is
you two
we think
actually-
this is the
Jay,
foursome.
Jay and Jage
And Jeff Young.
and
Yeah.
Jeff
Yeah,
Young.
that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we
What was Jeff
decided
doing?
Bass.
bass, yeah.
Right.
and then
right.
and then
Walsh
when it
wasn't a
didn't
bass
work
player.
out, I was like,
Walsh
okay,
was still a
fine.
guitar player.
That's right. Walsh is still
I'm
a
gonna
guitar
leave in
player.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
I've
okay.
almost, yeah, I've been.
You're so close, dude.
Your part of the story is
You're
so,
so
fucking
close.
awesome, though. and
My
epic.
car's running. I need to get going.
You're the only one that matters here.
He hit the auto start like an hour and a half ago.
I don't have any gas left.
I promise Matt's part of the story is very compelling.
It's gonna take like 3 minutes.
It's about 6 minutes.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go.
But you're having a good time, though, right?
This is amazing. Well, I don't know the story.
Yeah, well, there
I
you go.
just showed up and But
Oh,
we'll
I'm
save
still
that
gonna
for
need you
later.
to listen to this episode when it's out, though.
I will listen.
Just for like that.
I'm subscribed.
If he could,
that's
well,
right.
now he knows how to spell it. So
AM.
yeah, empirical.
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 But so you guys then.
Podcast.
Yeah. So okay. So they knew that Andy was hurt
Being a
by
baby.
what happened.
Scorn is the
And-
word I used.
Scorned. Yeah, he was scorned.
Porn.
And so when they approached me about this, we decided together that we're never just going to be able to say, "Hey, Andy, let's play again."
Yeah.
We were like, we have to write complete songs,
And show 'em.
done top to bottom, and present them to
Make
him
him
and
be
be
like,
like,
"I
"You
gotta
can
be
be
part
in
of
this band."
Yeah.
And so we
And
did.
it fucking worked
Yeah.
so hard.
These guys
Reverse
came-
psychology.
And actually, JJ did to me what that guitar teacher in high school had done to him. He was like, "Oh, it's all just minor."
Diddled you?
We said we weren't going to. Anyway.
Ixnay on Idle Day.
Boundaries.
It'll day?
But no, JJ did the same thing to
Actually,
me. It
that
was like, it's all
explains
just
so
minor
much.
pentatonic, man.
told
You
you.
just like, and then here's how it works with the chord changes. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard all of that before. I can do that. And so I was like, I guess.
Were you
I can
playing
be a
bass at this
player.
time already?
Yeah,
though?
that was when I made the choice. Like, you didn't know me as a bass player ever, right?
No, I didn't.
Until we were screwing around with Jeff, and Jeff couldn't do it for I forget why, but I was.
I'm not even sure I knew that Jeff was playing
I
with
was
you
like,
guys.
all right,
Yeah,
I
we were
can-
jamming.
I get-
We were jamming.
What were you
acoustically.
doing then?
I was just gonna be a singer.
Ah,
But we were
Your
jamming.
dream.
We were jamming acoustically at Walsh's dorm, behind your back.
no, I knew that.
Yeah, we
Well,
wrote-
not at the time.
Yeah,
but-
we wrote like
yeah.
2 or 3 songs, top
Right.
to bottom.
Yeah.
Without drums, and we're like,
Did any of those songs make it to the full set
Fuck,
list? Like,
yeah.
what songs?
Yeah,
were you guys
definitely.
yeah,
writing
all
at
of
that-
them.
Guess
What-
so.
What songs were you writing at that time?
The Fall for sure was
Oh,
one,
really?
of, one of the first
That's
songs. In
awesome.
fact, the
Also
band
that-
name came from a lyric from that song.
Yeah.
Because the song was about like, hey guys, you know this isn't going to work, right?
Right.
And so the lyrics were all about like, yo, you sure you're cool with just like playing bar shows and like not being anything? Because this is all I got in me. And so short of all literally means like, hey, we're going to set goals and we're going to fall short of all of them.
Right.
Is that okay?
You guys.
And they
totally
said
succeeded
yes.
at.
They never asked me that, but
Well,
they
they
knew
knew
that,
that.
I.
That's true.
They knew that I always fall short.
So
So.
I feel like you and I play a similar role in our bands where we're
Nobody
like
likes
the
you.
wall, where it's like, good luck trying to convince us of anything, because we have opinions and we're passionate, which means we're an absolute pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But because we care about it.
But I'll tell you though, when they first came to me and they said, "Hey," or maybe not first, I guess you did come to me and you said, "Hey, we have these 4 songs. Let's play." I don't remember what my initial response was. It was probably like, I don't know.
Did they have
But
them
once-
recorded?
No, no. I think you.
Okay.
I think we agreed to get together, and then you showed me the songs, and you guys played them for me, and you were all just fucking. You played the fucking song like in front of me without drums, and I was just like, okay, and then I started playing with you. And I think you were even like, this is what I had in mind, and then we're gonna break down here and do this a little different, change it up.
Yeah.
Did your brain already have that in your head though? Even just hearing what they're doing, being like, this is where this would go, this would happen. Just from that, not only being a drummer, but being with these guys for so long anyway.
I can't say that I like, I don't remember if I like anticipated it when they were first showing me
Maybe
the
when
songs.
you finally got behind your kit.
But absolutely, that would happen all the time. Like
Yeah.
Dan would write stuff, and I think he would have an idea of what he wanted it to be like, and then I would usually sit down. And I think it was pretty congruent,
Oh yeah.
like
yeah, for
where
sure.
where he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking," kind of thing.
Yeah,
Some of
because
the time.
there was a style change too in there. In that
Oh,
gap,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
That was the thing I was gonna say earlier because we were talking about like tag along being more poppy and also the program or the false intent being more
Yeah.
poppy, and then this was definitely a turn. I felt like Dan had a bug up his ass to be like metal, like
Yeah.
hard, not metal but like harder.
But like strung out. Like just
Yeah.
heavier in general.
yeah,
Dan
and I'm not saying that in
or
a bad
Dan?
way.
Walsh.
Walsh. Yeah, and I'm not saying that in a bad way whatsoever. It just seemed like a goal of the new writing
Yeah.
from what I had previously experienced with you is that this was going to be harder.
Yeah.
And we were going to push and do things that were harder than we
We
had
had
done
a
before. And I
wee
thought that was
guy
cool.
now.
And there was a lot more like palm muting riffs. A lot of it reminds me of like Ixnay on the Ombre or something.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So and this would go on as just you 4 for a while.
Yep.
I think you guys released 2 demos and then the creepy peepee.
Creepy peepee.
Which Jason did all the art for, by the way.
That's true. You did.
Except the coloring, I did all of that. Jason did the drawing, and I digitized it and then did the coloring.
And you got inside the lines, buddy.
I did.
You did a good
Well,
job.
I mean, I used a
We're so
computer,
proud of
and
you.
that was before AI. So
When did you
So
start?
he had to use
when did
the
you
magic
write your
wand
first
tool.
song?
Oh, in Tagalong days.
You wrote in Tagalong also.
Actually,
he wrote about the same volume, same ratio of songs in Tagalong as he did for Short of All, which was like 1 or 2.
no. Actually, no. In Tagalog,
Fair, they were
I think
really,
there was a
really
point. There was a point where I had like, well, at least in our set list, where I had written like half that we were playing in the set list actively.
Do you
And
guys
then
remember in Tagalong when we had like a 50-song set list?
in Tagalog? Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was
Towards the end.
crazy,
That's
and it would
wild.
still be done in 25
When
minutes.
they're only,
Yeah.
when they're only a minute and a half a piece.
2.5 max. But yeah.
Glad it wasn't there for those days, buddy.
But then a couple of them made it over to the very first song I ever wrote was Sleeping Beauty, and I think that was a pretty good song. We recorded it for the first time at was it Avocado Studios?
Yeah, just some lady
Apocalypse
in her
Cow.
basement.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Cow.
No,
I remember that.
It was
Oh, no, that's
before that.
Squeegee Thieves. Sorry.
Okay,
We
yeah.
did record an Apocalypse Cow actually, but that was a second demo. The first demo we did was I think it was only Sleeping Beauty, wasn't it, or was there 2 songs?
It might have just been the one, actually.
I think it might have
yeah.
just been Sleeping Beauty.
I remember
That's
that
Tagalong that you're talking about.
that
Yeah.
lady was like, when we finished, she was like, "All right, so good job. I'll be putting out a press release pretty soon."
Uh-huh.
And we were like, "What?
And she did.
Why?" Yeah. And so like
That's
Mia
awesome.
Oswego Ledger, she was like,
Nice.
Oh,
"Local
cute.
local teens
Having a good
record crappy song in basement."
Yeah.
So you've only written a couple of Short of also, but so he writes for you, like you were saying earlier.
Well, like
sing on
like
those
I said, I wrote quite a few songs for Tagalong,
Yeah.
but then yeah, for Short of All, only. I'm telling you, at one point there was half Dan, half the set.
You wrote
list
a
that
lot
were
of
like-
songs
Listen,
that you didn't let us play.
That's true too.
Not a lot. There was like 3 songs that I wrote.
that were really fucking good.
2 actually, I think.
And you kept them to yourself like a jerk.
I tried to release them, and you guys were like,
No.
"Fuck you."
You recorded them all yourself and did every instrument yourself and everything.
Yeah, and then I
was
and
like,
then I
"Damn,
tried to
that's
put
real
one
good."
on this Spotify album, and you guys were like, "No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
gay."
fuck you
It's
now.
not a Short of All song.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an Andy Halder song.
Yeah.
Well, it's a Short of All song,
It's a
and
sunburned
part
Eskimo
of
song.
Yeah.
Eskimo sunburn.
So at this point, you.
Anyways, in
At this point- okay,
in,
go ahead.
in Short of All itself,
Yeah.
I only wrote a couple songs.
Jason, did you ever write any Short of All
Hell
songs?
no. These dudes are so good.
That's true. Jay, you just wrote the 2.
Yeah, I think it was Turbo Slouch.
just a
No Hard
workhorse.
Feelings.
What's that called?
Huh?
What is it called?
The first one?
Yeah.
Turbo Sluts?
Ah,
Yeah.
Shay. Sluts.
how about you tell me about how why'd you call it that?
Oh, the lyric in the song was, they say love will find a way, but even Turbo Sluts won't fucking touch me.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's sad.
Yeah, thanks
is
for bringing
sad.
that up, Andy.
you fucking wrote it.
Also, one of the most famous Short of All songs.
Yeah, and actually, I remember the harmonized guitar part, like, I think that happened when, like, half the band went to Taco Bell or something, and then, like, and I just sat there, like, I just, like, tried to add something to it, and we're like, oh. And then, like, when they came back, we're just like, hey, check this out. we added another one. But then, but yeah, I only had, like, the couple songs.
Fierce Brosnan.
Oh, yeah, that was never recorded, but yeah.
I still play those chords to this
Oh, do you?
day.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It was recorded, but it wasn't released.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we never got the vocals down and everything.
Also, we should mention in here somewhere that we all started living together.
Yeah. The Short of All house
Yeah.
was birthed.
And
Yeah.
that made this all so much easier
That was
than
awesome.
trying to get 5 guys to meet up at once
Yeah.
when we were all just already there.
Before there was a restaurant called Five Guys, because then that seems like it would be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard they're really expensive.
It's delicious.
So
though.
also during this time, you guys lived together. Andy starts working at Guitar Center, and that's where we.
That's where
the
we
real
can all
start.
leave, and you can
Finally,
just talk
can
to
I go?
Matt.
Yeah, finally.
You guys can go.
Holy Christ!
Also
You guys
known
even
as the
remember
Sauce
Matt
Boss.
Working his way to Sauce King.
Someday.
Clem with that sauce
So
He'll
letter.
get there.
So Deeb's worked at Guitar Center for a long time, till just recently.
18 years.
Woo!
Man, really?
Wild, yeah.
That is wild.
That's exactly
Because after
how-
Andy left, I worked at
That's
Guitar
as old as
Center
I
then
like
for
it.
a while. That's
Jobs.
crazy.
Took jobs, yeah.
Yeah, and I worked at Guitar Center for like 6 years or something. It was a long time.
Yeah, I worked there for a few years after you were gone. Also, can we talk about your socks for a second?
Yeah,
Do we have to?
We have to.
who sucks?
Can
My
you
sucks.
put them on Walsh's feet so I don't have to look at those anymore?
Do you want one sock so you can cover 1 foot? My son had made
I'm
these
sorry.
for me for my birthday.
Yeah.
He's 4.
Matt's
toes
birthday
don't
was
look like
just
they're
the other
I
day,
love 'em.
and the son made him these beautiful
Yeah,
tie-dye
they
socks.
were doing tie-dye fun stuff at school, science stuff, and then that was last week or 2 weeks ago. So then my birthday was coming up, and my wife had the idea, like, let's make some socks for Dad. And he
Birthday
was
was 2
all
days
about
ago.
it. Huh?
Just 2 days ago.
2 days
Your
ago,
birthday,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
38, I've heard.
Also, I
38.
feel like you really like tie-dye, too.
I'm into it, yeah. So I wore these. Anything he makes, anything my children make, I'm a sucker for. So
Now,
softy now.
one of the things I'm really curious about is because, for all intents and purposes, Short of All is established. It already been a little while. You guys have released a bunch of songs. Why? Like,
Played a bunch of shows. We didn't talk
Deems
about
is incredible
Congress Theater
on a whole other level than any of us. But why did we need Matt in the band?
Because Jason wanted to stop playing guitar.
No, I did not want to stop. We had a house party.
Let's get rid of our rhythm guitars and get this incredible jazz musician.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the
Because Jason
time,
just wanted to sing.
no,
Sorry,
that's
go
not even
ahead.
at all.
I thought I had a
Uh,
portion here. What's going
We
on?
had a
Oh,
house
we're
party.
getting there. We're so close.
We were having a house party, and I heard Matt tootling around on the guitar, and I was just blown away. Like
Yeah.
instantly, I'm like, "Holy shit, this dude fucking rips!" And
I
at
heard
the
you,
time,
by the
I
way.
was super into like a Wilhelm scream and shit with like dual lead parts
Yeah,
and
like,
stuff.
really
And I was
incredible.
like, man, if he could do that with JJ, this would be like my wettest dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, like like I said, this whole podcast, I'm not a good guitar player. I can power chords and whatever. I can play rhythm fine.
Right.
But I knew I would never be able to do even what JJ does. So I was willing to step down to make the band that much better. And I didn't want to, but I was like, God damn, this dude, we need him. Like, he's so good. And he's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like,
In my
right
opinion-
away, we all clicked. And
Yeah, totally. Yeah, my opinion was that, especially with Andy being as talented as he was
Jesus, Dan.
as a singer.
You want to just go in your bedroom right now?
I mean,
He doesn't know how to take
Leave
calls.
the mics on,
we
too.
have all night.
Okay, you're right.
But
That'll be the after.
We'll see how long I last.
So you might not like the second part, but for as
Oh.
talented a singer as
He sure
you
is an
were
asshole.
behind the drum kit, there was something lacking in our stage presence with that.
Yeah, no, I
And-
agree. I
And
agree
to
with that.
have a proper
Especially when you got
frontman who
four,
could
yeah.
take the mic and work the crowd,
Yeah.
plus having a second guitar player who could dual lead and
Yeah.
trade off.
I've seen him dressed as Aladdin before
I think
also.
it took us to a whole other level.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
agree.
Not just in musicianship, but in showmanship.
Totally.
Because Jay will talk shit all day about his guitar playing. He's fine. He's serviceable. Jay,
That's what you aim for as a musician.
the best compliment he's ever gotten. It's serviceable.
Well, and I have no doubts that you could have done it.
but this
Like, if
guy
you really wanted
is
to, you could.
a front man.
Yeah, that's true.
I loved seeing this guy put his foot up on the monitor
Yeah.
and lean over against the crowd and slap people's hands in the front row. It was
I was so
And put the
excited
microphone
when
to your
even
butt.
before
And
he was
it was
even in the
something
band when he was
we
just
never-
talking about being
Yeah.
able to just sing.
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be so much better.
And I remember like we all thought Matt was awesome, but then like the songs I was hearing him play was like Humphreys McGee and stuff. And I'm like, he's not going to
Yeah.
come play for
I
a
say,
punk rock.
that's what we're
band.
gonna get to
I
now.
don't think
The
so
thing
either,
too, though,
Matt-
actually.
like a big giant part of it is just who he is. Like
Yeah.
we were so fucking in love with this guy. Like the first house party he came to, I was like, I want this fucking guy in my
cracking
life.
us up.
Well,
with it.
and
Yeah,
you're not talking about how I had already been spending
Like,
years
that's a-
with him.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
Every
at work.
single
But like
day.
that's like a big thing.
I was
look
in love
for
with
in a
him.
band. That's
First.
I wanted to be a fan.
We were in love first.
Yeah, I
and he
agree.
fit.
What I'm
fucking-
curious about, Matt, on your end, I mean, you're a social guy in general. You've worked retail forever. You know how to do it. But
jammed with
did
like
you-
10,000 different
Yeah.
Play
people.
with some people.
Do you
yeah.
feel the family thing immediately, or were you like, I'm just that kind of guy?
No, so I guess let's rewind to starting to work with Andy, right? Because we worked for
Yeah, they've been
Guitar
waiting
Center
for
This
us
is,
all
this is a
night.
big. Well, this is a big part of it. Because
Andy, please, this is Matt's time, finally.
Shut up.
Okay.
So we worked together for a long time at Guitar Center, right? We were department managers.
You
no
guys
big
not
deal.
touch toes
We're
while
touching
you're doing
feet.
this?
Take off your shoe. Man. Don't get my tie-dye socks dirty.
I'm afraid my feet will smell. But my wife said they don't. So.
What's a fetal smell?
Well, it smells like a baby.
I guess that's my
Inside.
time. It's up. So we're talking about fetuses.
Thanks for coming by, man.
Andy's feet.
What if fetuses were tie-dye? Would people like them more?
Oh man, we were so close.
I
Matt's,
should have worn these.
Matt's taking his microphone off.
All right, I'm taking my shoes off.
Take them off.
Oh yeah, they look like they smell.
Oh, they do. Oh, those are dirty.
They're not dirty.
Why are
they're
they brown?
stained.
Bleach them, dude. They're white socks.
I walked in dirt earlier.
Jesus. Let's.
I walked from my house to get here.
Your feet are
to do
so
this
warm. This is
podcast.
awful.
Matt, I can
Wait, you
see
don't like wearing
I can see the
feet?
dirt transferring to your
Yeah.
socks.
Brown wasn't a color of tie dye.
Go on.
So this is the love we shared at Guitar Center. We worked together at Guitar Center, and we saw each other 4 or 5 days a week. You know, just the friendship just ballooned. I'm like, dude,
And
this
then
is
a lot
one
of
of my
times after
guys.
work too.
Oh yeah, we'd go out and drink, and when we weren't supposed to because we were underage, but why not? But we became department managers. Oh, that's right. You were like a decade ahead of me.
Right.
You bought it for me.
Yeah.
But we
Well, I didn't do that. I didn't do more illegal activities.
edit.
You were 21?
Yeah, probably at that time.
Yeah.
Well, I had started right after high school, so 18,
you older than JJ?
19.
You're
I
younger
just
than
turned 38. My birthday was just a couple of days ago, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, actually, I was. You know what? I probably was like 22.
You were probably in your 20s.
Yeah.
I was just like freshly 18. I was right for
It
the
was one of the
picking.
other guys that bought booze for you, though, wasn't me.
Does it make you
Probably
sad that it was
Craig.
20 years ago?
Yeah.
Craig. Love you, Craig. Stand up bass.
I just listened to Folk
Go.
Singer on Spotify the other day
So we were,
because I was thinking about that.
our friendship was blooming. We were climbing the GC ladder, department managers together, right? That was awesome.
Cute.
So that, yeah. So that is where I was like, hey, let me join your band. And he's just like, no. This is when you, like you said, you guys were established. You
Yeah.
guys had, you just became, this
I never
rock
said no to you, did I?
all the time. And, all the time. And
Yeah, right, loser.
it was like probably like daily, like, oh, let me just play in your band. And you're like, I don't know. Maybe it was kind of like you like led me on a bunch of times for like years.
I felt like you.
Because
okay.
you guys you found this thing with the 4 of you guys. You're like, this is awesome. After that whole history of changing band names, right?
Did you love it? Like, you'd heard this stuff, right?
These guys had changed my complete musical world. Like you
I
were
was gonna
saying,
say,
I came from like
how were you
jazz and
trained?
jam
Yeah.
bandy, type
Were
of
you
like.
classically trained as well?
I
It
didn't
came
take
up-
any training. No, I played trumpet in high school for a couple of years. That's where I learned to read music.
Why didn't you ever play trumpet for us?
I had quit because it was
Jason
like
plays
so
trumpet.
loud. Yeah.
What the fuck is Trey's trumpet?
It is loud.
Yeah, my folks were like, "Stop playing the trumpet. It's
They're
so
like,
damn
"Shut the
loud.
fuck up."
How could you
Like,
ever
okay.
practice a trumpet,
Yeah.
right? And like, I can't like be quiet. Like, let me be respectful.
They're like,
trumpet.
Matt, that's annoying.
Yeah,
Stop
like,
playing
why'd you
that."
buy me a trumpet then?
Yeah.
Made no sense.
You should have bought an
Like, because
electric
why don't you
trumpet.
shut up? But now you're louder, so it's worse.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I had, I was getting discouraged because I did have a trumpet teacher, and he was like, "Hey man, are you like drinking soda and like eating garbage while you're like playing trumpet?" I'm like, no. And it was obvious because you would like empty the spit valve and it's just like brown like syrup.
You were
And
eating
I'm like,
food while you're playing.
I'm just like chugging a Pepsi and like playing trumpet. Spit valve is like
You're like,
tobacco.
it's like shooting shit out of the.
No, the spit valve. And I had like a spittoon. It was like brown. But I was like,
Are you sure it wasn't like chewing tobacco?
could have been. I don't know. I blacked out for most of my teens and into the 20s. So I was just like, this instrument's not for me. I can't eat snacks while I play it. I can't. I can't play like quiet, So I quit the trumpet right away. But I learned to read music from that.
Yeah.
Very different than guitar, 100%.
Yeah.
But
It's
my
very
dad had
snack-based.
got me. What's that?
It's very snack based.
The guitar.
Guitar.
That's where I could snack. Yeah.
You had to have people feed the snacks to you. though,
Yeah, I
while
could
you're
get my
doing-
fingers dirty.
Yeah.
So my dad had got me my first guitar just kind of out of the blue. I was kind of like, hey, I want to kind of play guitar. I'm trying to find myself, kind of figure it out. And like beautifully enough, he had brought me to Arlington Heights Guitar Center to get my first guitar.
Yeah.
Arlington Heights. We worked in Naperville Guitar Center together, so it's a little bit different.
drum set at Arlington
Yes.
Heights,
So there's a special place.
There you go.
So he brought me there. I still have my first guitar. I still
you go.
have the first amplifier. He had found the receipt. I still have the original receipt. It's just like awesome. I have like the original instrument cable.
That is awesome.
And that was 25 years ago or whatever. So that actually
away.
Definitely gonna want to replace that cable.
Yeah.
probably
It's
it
probably
probably doesn't
trash,
work.
dude.
Yeah.
Maybe
Throw that
maybe
shit
Monster
away.
cable, lifetime
It
warranty.
was a live wire. Still has the blue end, like the original.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never throw it away. It's the original. And
Even
so
though your dad didn't love you?
he did not.
Even
could
when
not
your
give
dad
me a
tried to
nice
choke you
cable.
with that cable?
Yes. It's the same one I used to like hang and jerk off at the same time. So there's a
Autoradio,
special place
uh,
with that cable.
like,
I use it. I don't use it for a guitar anymore.
That's it.
As
Yeah.
long as it's utility.
Thanks.
Yeah, I use it for other things. I'm not gonna
Walsh
throw it
just
away.
called me a utility.
Do you jump rope with it?
That
That must be awkward because it's a 1 foot cable.
it just like slaps slaps the ground. It's like so my Guitar Center career concluded with me being the store manager of the Arlington Heights Guitar Center. So I'd
Cute.
climbed the ladder, 18 years, all these different positions.
that was way later though.
right. Yeah,
yeah,
this was
18 years later.
After
later.
Short of All.
So that
Just
was like a
said it.
special thing to kind of be like, let me run the store and like oversee a team of 5 years to like of the place where I got my first guitar. So that was like
Yeah.
special. I wanted to go on top. You know, I'm like, let me leave while I still like love Guitar Center. No ill will, you know, but like I was ready for a change.
I feel like when I left almost like 10 years ago, it was starting to change. It was becoming more of a retail store.
Oh, it started
instead
that
of,
before you left.
Yeah, I'm
It
sure.
was like when I was leaving. It was
Yeah, because it was like by musicians for musicians, and it started really turning into retail.
Once they
It was
had
like,
TV
ugh.
commercials, that was like a year or two after I left. I started seeing TV commercials.
Yeah.
I was like, ugh.
It was big box, and the whole thing was
Yeah.
like, let's get credit cards and sell warranties. And
Right.
It's like it lost. You know, after 18 years, it just like lost
Yeah,
it
that's
for
a
me.
long
I
time.
accidentally fucked up a couple of people's lives getting them credit cards. at
Did
Guitar
you ruin
Center.
some credit, dude?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
My first credit card was a guitar.
But you hit the
Center
quota
card.
for the day.
I did.
You got your one card for the day.
I did. They did pat me on the butt,
Nice. The butt touching was a bit much.
and they gave me like $2 for that. So I mean, it was
You got
like,
cash?
Yeah.
You just took it from the drawer.
No, I never did that.
Different days
It was
back
a
then.
spiff.
Different. It was a different time. Right.
Yeah.
Were
But
you in any bands before then?
Do we have enough time?
Yeah.
only one band, I think.
What? No.
I think it was the one band, and it was some buddies from high school, and we were really into jazz and like
Yeah.
funk, and it's just like this crappy sounding like funky jazzy. You know, think of like generic kids like playing generic funk. Like that's what it was.
That's
But it was like our
badass.
world. It was so fun, and I was
Yeah.
playing bass. And we like all play guitars, like 4 kids that play guitar, and they're like, well, we need someone to play
No
drums,
drummers.
and we need someone to like play bass and like play drums or like and guitar, and we like all kind of. It's like we need someone to sing, so we kind of spread out. I'm like, I'll take bass,
Yeah.
you know. So I fell in love with bass, and I still play bass to this day.
Does every
So-
bass player start their bass playing career by saying, I'll take
I'll
bass?
just do it.
I
Yeah,
didn't,
it's the same
actually.
career
What-
path,
that's
right?
what happened to
You're
me.
like,
I think
I'll
I'm the
just
only
do
one
it.
who didn't. I was like, the bass is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was taught by a guy that played like a really flashy style immediately, so it was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And also, a guitar makes me uncomfortable.
Too many strings.
Less strings.
Way
yeah.
too many strings. There's too much going on.
So yeah, we're doing the slap, and we're doing like all the funky and
Slapping the bass.
we're very into like Incubus, kind of like weird, kind of like that kind of back
love
in the day,
Incubus.
311 style, kind of funky, progressive kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the first band I was in for like kids from high school. So that
I
like,
feel like I feel like you were always playing with people though, and so
Yeah.
I think
I feel like you're like me. Like we're a couple of music whores, but we'll play with anybody.
I love playing.
100%.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was playing
like,
with everyone, not just them. Like playing with different people, and
so. Part of the thing was when you were saying like, oh, can I play with you guys? Can I play with you guys? First of all, I was still having hopes that Jason
would get better.
Would get better.
No, that you'd realize that you could do it and that you would do it because I know that you could have done it and that's fine. I
That was
agree
20
with
years
Dan.
ago. Still can't do it.
I agree with Dan that it was better to just unleash you as a frontman, and get mad, and that was awesome. And then that was like the best of times. But honestly, when we first the first time that you came to jam with us, I was like, "This is fucking awesome." I did not think you were going to come back, and every single time we played after that, I didn't think you were going to come back. It was one of
That
those
went on
things-
for 5
well, I
years.
didn't leave. Like I would just like crash in the room in the house.
Well, even still, I didn't think you'd want to play with us again. Like I just felt like you. I don't know. I felt like you had like commitment issues, but I don't know.
I was
like, I
a
just didn't-
teenager. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
find
just didn't
myself
feel like
in my
you'd want
early
to stay
20s.
with us. And then one time after another, I was like, all right, cool. Like
Yeah.
Matt's here and he's gonna stay with us, and this is awesome.
Well, I always lived very far too. Like you said, you would get sick of the commute. So
Yep.
being like driving my shitty Chevy Lumina,
The Loom.
1993,
The Loom,
the
bro.
Loom.
But you did it, though.
That's right. It went out with like 290,000 miles or something
Man.
wild.
Hell yeah.
I drove it
Lord.
into the ground, dude. Literally. Like I
I
brought it.
remember shit was wasn't that thing falling apart like
Dude,
in
it
every
was,
way?
I would fill it with oil weekly. I would have to put oil in it.
I feel like things inside the car were falling apart.
Oh,
too,
it was
like,
bad,
or your
dude.
mirror was
Remember
like,
the-
falling off or something.
Yeah, I didn't have the side mirror. No, it was the rear
different
mirror.
things. It was like always something new. Like, oh, hey, this fell off.
The back. Remember the back window was smashed. because we were at a house party. And I was like, I locked the keys inside the car. So I'm like, what are we gonna do? And like collectively, we're like, smash the window. I'm like, yeah, obviously. So we got like this
the only
bottle
way.
of vodka, smash. Got the keys, triumphant. And then I didn't
Did
fix
it
the
break
window
the
for like a
bottle?
year. No, the bottle was
So
completely
you guys
fine.
could drink the rest.
It was empty. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It was
well,
like
that's smart.
Sven vodka or like those like big
Oh, yeah.
bottles.
Yeah.
Indestructible. Went right through the window. And yeah, I didn't fix the window for like a year, and I had like wildlife in the car, and like it would snow. Do you remember when I used to run and like jump in through the window? The Naperville days, like into the snow and like just climb on, like start the car and like drive away. I'm going to
Yeah,
lunch.
you probably
So-
still are, but you were always wacky. It was awesome.
I had covered it with cardboard, and then someone had drawn a penis on it. I think it was one of you guys.
Wasn't
way.
but I'd love to do
Come
that.
Yeah, I could.
I drew a smiley face and then turned into a penis one day, and then that like blew off on the highway. It probably landed on someone's windshield, just like this cardboarded penis. Like,
And they probably crashed and like killed a whole bunch of people.
yeah, probably.
It's awesome.
At least it was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, they went out. You know.
So that
That's-
first
that's the
time though
Edwards.
playing with those guys,
Yeah.
what's it like? Did you probably already had access to all the songs? Did
Well,
you practice them beforehand, or did you just show up?
they just kind of had me along. Like I said, I was always like, let me come play. And then eventually, so this is when you were apprehensive because you're like, Jason's trying to find his way. He's trying to figure out how to
No, he
like,
wasn't.
yeah, you're trying to like learn how to be, the front man and play and do this whole thing. So
Andy
you
was
guys
so
were
wrong about
apprehensive.
me.
And then I don't know how I showed up to come play. You're like, all right, just come jam. Something.
I'm pretty sure it's
you
at the
felt
first
bad.
Short of
I
All
just had
House.
short. Yeah,
I'm
the
pretty
first
sure.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was like, Andy, this dude has to fucking do it.
No, I think you ended up saying eventually that you wanted to. I'm just gonna sing, is what you said.
Yeah, because I wanted.
Right. And I was like,
Ding
I
dong
don't
over
know.
there.
We had that conversation, like, I feel like a bunch of times, and I'm like, you can do it, though, and da-da-da, and you're
No
like,
way.
and then finally you're like, no.
Yeah.
And then you might have even suggested, Matt, after he had already suggested
Oh, I was
it.
trying for years. I'm like, come on, let me play in your group.
So that might have been the last thing. I don't remember.
I
Maybe-
remember it specific. Like I remember the party. Like I remember, it was like right when I moved in to Chayton's house with you guys.
Yeah.
It was like that first party we had, and I was watching him play guitar with probably Craig and everybody. And I was just like, this fucking guy is cracking me up all night. And
Do
he
you-
fucking
You
shreds.
work with Craig too. That's right.
Yeah.
And he was living with us.
Yeah.
We
Fun.
did
I,
actually have a.
I never knew that. Until this conversation, I assumed that we begged Matt to play with us.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Matt begged. Them.
Well, apparently
I was
Jason
trying.
did.
I had no idea.
did. Yeah.
I had essentially I had infiltrated because I'm working with them. I'm like trying to weasel my way in.
You're
All of a
cute as
sudden they
fuck.
have this awesome house. I'm just crashing there for no reason. There's like an extra room I called Matt's room, right?
Yeah,
Had like
I
a
think there
sleeping
was
bag in
nothing
it.
in it, right?
Yeah, like a sleeping bag. I think I had yo-yos in there. Like I would just crash there, and then probably like empty beer cans and stuff. But I would sleep there randomly, and it was kind of like these guys exposed me to like all this new music. Like I said, I'm like jazz and funk. And then these guys bring in like no effects. and
All this
lower
new
guitars,
music,
like
punk.
all this awesome. Well, no, it's like a whole.
It's a whole new world if
So
you
I
haven't
wanted to
seen
expand
it.
my
It is. Yeah.
horizon, and they like I found it through these guys. So
That's
they,
what I'm.
they opened my
That's what I'm
eyes.
the most curious about is to take your style and kind of what you've been and plug it into something like this and make it work like amazingly. It had to be exciting as a creator, and then but also like how intimidating is that? Especially because these guys have most of them been friends for forever,
Yeah,
and then just kind of get plugged into that.
totally.
Well,
yeah.
but
It
you
was
were-
very intimidating.
But you came in with a catalog of stuff that was already made, so we weren't. I mean, there was no expectation of you to come in and be like, "Okay, Matt, change all this shit," or like
Blow our
add all
mind.
this shit. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to diminish it or anything. I'm just saying, like,
Well, that's what I would
it
be
seemed
curious
like it
to
was
next is what's it like then to move forward writing with this fifth member as opposed to when he's just learning your songs.
Well, that's why I like to joke. Like I never, like brought anything to the band. Like I didn't.
Well-
I'm not on any recordings.
You-
I didn't like write any songs.
When we
I'm
played
just, like-
live, I
I'm
don't
just
even
like
think you
there.
played the same song as us most of the time.
Yeah, that's true. So I learned the songs.
Yeah.
And I just
And
like,
then once we hit the stage, you just change them.
I thought you.
yeah, I did my own thing. I
I
kind
don't know how
of
many
put like a
times I looked
spin,
over
you
like
know,
mid singing. I'm like, what the fuck?
But
I thought you did record on some of the
As long as
last.
he's
I might have been on
using
some.
keys, fine.
it might have been on some.
But here's the
work.
thing, though. I have some recordings that
Yeah.
were not released.
I thought the last recording you were on though.
That's what I thought too.
I thought that for sure.
Maybe not all of them because
Yeah,
the
at
stuff
least a
that's on
couple of them.
Spotify,
That's
a
all
couple
JJ.
of those songs were from, or maybe half, were from the split that we did with the Light in the Attic.
Yeah.
And so JJ
The Knackles,
recorded
yeah.
the
Yep.
rhythms
the
for
guitars,
that.
yeah.
No, I,
But-
think, I think that's right. Yeah, nothing.
But I'm
that-
pretty
nothing
sure-
that Matt. You did record things with us, but they never got put onto.
No, but I
they weren't
think
good enough to be on.
No, I think like Fierce Brosnan and stuff though.
Nope.
That was never
No?
released either though.
Nope.
Yep. or not Fierce Brosnan. Then there's like half the songs that are on Spotify, or I guess it's like 3 of the songs that are on Spotify weren't released before.
Yeah, the newest stuff.
And I think
from
he was
Spotify. He was not.
Oh, he
there
was
for the
not on that
recording
either?
sessions,
JJ
no.
did all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I contributed little to nothing.
Okay, but what I
why
was
are you
saying
here?
was,
I don't know. I tried to get out of this. I have other things to do.
That's actually almost more impressive because you only got something special if you saw you guys live during that time you were in the band.
I was not equipped to be in the band with these guys in the slightest. I played Andy's guitar
Yeah.
for the entirety.
That's true. And
JJ's
before he played it,
amplifier
Jason played it.
for the entirety. I think I showed up with guitar picks that I probably stole from Dan. Like, I had nothing. I'm crashing in their spare room, and I'm just like, I could play guitar. So
You drove the van a couple of times.
a couple times,
Yeah.
a couple times. But I owe a lot to these guys, like to expand my musical horizon, all these memories. Like you were saying, that's how you wanted to spend your 20s. I'm like, I'm so happy to say that I got to hang out, live in the house with these guys, and play the same style of music and be in the band. You know,
2
this
houses.
guy. 2 houses.
Yeah.
I lived in 2 houses with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was like official. Was I like on the lease? I don't know.
That one was
Yeah,
hard.
you were.
Yeah.
You're on the lease for both of them.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to tell these stories that we all lived together and we all played together, and that's like such a special portion
Well,
of my
and
life.
it just
I got
worked
so
out.
lucky.
Like with you living there, especially. Like
Yeah.
I think any musician who had come with the same musicianship as you have may or may not have stuck around, but your personality-wise, you fit in day one. Like Andy knew you previous, and I didn't. I was like, who's
Right.
this fucking chucklefuck?
Chuckle fuck.
Yeah.
It was easy because we were in love. So
Yeah.
like, I'm obviously gonna love
And
these
we
guys
still
by
are.
default. We're still in love.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was intimidating to go in because that's not my style of music. It's not, I was ill-equipped to be a part of this like lifestyle, new style of music. But
No, I wouldn't
this
say
guy,
that,
the
though.
stamina,
You weren't
killing it on
ill-equipped.
drums, vocals, amazing frontman, the charisma, like I pale in comparison to JJ's talent. Like he's.
I don't know about that.
That's what motivated me to like keep up with him. You said like what keeps me like driven to
Yeah.
be
Oh,
in that
yeah.
band was like
Well,
let
that
me
was-
just keep up with this guy.
That was amazing too, by the way. JJ being a metal shredder and you being a jazz shredder, and somehow meeting in the middle and playing together was so cool
It
to
was
watch.
fun. You kept me inspired, dude. For sure. And then
too,
you
'cause I
writing all the
just- You were
songs,
playing
the
different types
brains.
of stuff than I was, and I was like,
Yeah. It was fun to
was,
like
like,
be living
smoother.
there and like just kind of sit and jam and just kind of expand. But it's
It was really cool to watch
All
2
these guys are-
autistic kids just fucking go at it.
Did you say artistic?
Autistic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You heard me.
Damn it.
he
What's
tried
wrong?
to cover
There's
it up.
nothing wrong with autism.
Yeah,
You
they're the
fucking
best.
ass.
They're not actually autistic. That's the problem.
Oh, that is a problem.
Let me explain
Maybe
to
they
you
are,
live
though.
on the mic why what he's saying is a problem.
Maybe they are though.
mute us and then just have a disclaimer about that.
Tim doesn't know how to edit, so.
So
I know how to. I don't. If you do it right the first time and aren't dickheads, we'll be fine.
Have you met us?
Me?
I have.
You
okay.
met me?
Okay, so I would like to say that I do have some awesome recordings of Matt, and it is heartbreaking that we didn't continue playing because the stuff that Matt was writing, which there are things, and I have recordings of it, and it's
really
some of the
good.
coolest shit. I love it, but it's on my computer, and I can't release it because it's not complete, and
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way
never meant
to.
What would it take to complete it?
I think we'd have to re-record a bunch of
Just
shit.
at a,
think
but
so.
like, what does that look like? Just at a level, just to put it on streaming, not to play it.
Well, I
again?
wouldn't put it on streaming. I could definitely make like a file of it so you could hear it, but it's
No,
incomplete.
I'm saying, what would it look like to finish
complete
it
it.
to a
we
level?
would have
get
to
it
re-record
streaming?
stuff for sure.
And we'd all have to relearn it, and we'd have
Yeah.
to
Well,
finish,
that wouldn't be-
finish the bits that are unwritten.
Well, no, we'd have to redo we'd have to re-record the whole thing, and to be honest, we'd have
I'm
to
in.
finish writing because some of the stuff that I have of his is we never actually finished it. It was more of a jam kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was,
think
like,
you guys would
like
be
we had a
interested
verse
in
and a
that?
chorus, and it was like, maybe this could be a song, but
Right.
it was awesome, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, being inspired by JJ's playing, I was inspired by Dan's songwriting. It was
Yeah.
an honor to like play all those like beautiful creations and bring his
And do you
you know
think
his
it's weird?
visions to
Do
life.
you think it's
I'm
weird
like,
too,
maybe
like,
I can write something.
Dan, he's
Being
thinking
a friend of,
entirely
of
different.
Walsh's too, and being
Yeah,
like,
right?
he writes all this.
That
This is
was
crazy.
mind blowing when coming into it too.
Yeah,
and I was
I-
like, that was
When you
that's
watch this,
phenomenal.
he can't even walk a straight line without falling over.
Yeah.
And you're like, he writes all this music?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
So it's like
That was-
awesome
He
to
can
like
walk.
watch.
He can walk straight lines. He can't
Andy
eat ice
is-
cream without spilling it on
All right,
himself.
let's say,
That's
is
what-
Walsh a verb? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. He still writes amazing music. It's weird.
So
And only with 9 fingers too. It's just like,
and 14 toes.
oh yeah, you should put some socks on too.
Thank you.
Dude, it's March. I'm not wearing socks until October.
Oh, man.
March Madness. But yeah, one of the things I feel like towards the end, I feel like Dan got tired of writing, or having that weight, or I don't know.
if that's necessarily true. I do. It's not the same thing, but I guess I did start feeling like the reason we were only playing bar shows and not progressing as a band was because my writing was kind of a little bit dog shit, a little self-indulgent, and like if I would have just wrote a hook or two, like maybe we could have actually had good tunes and like.
Well, I think we definitely had good tunes.
Oh, that's an interesting thing because feels so far off reality.
Yeah, we were never a hooky.
You play
band.
bar shows because you booked bar shows. That's on you guys. That's the only reason.
You can't just call the House of Blues and be like, we want to play like next month.
Yeah,
but you can, or at least you figure out how to get there. Chain of command.
yeah, but
you
to
get
get
there by writing good songs and developing a fan
Nobody
base.
And by
comes
playing
to
bar
you
shows.
to be like,
Proving
hey,
that
we
you
want to
can
book
draw.
you. You at this level, you have to go out and start.
I would agree.
Do that.
Well, yeah, you got to play
You
the
have to
shows.
prove that you can draw an audience, and you have to
Yeah.
write good songs to draw an audience. And I didn't do that. I wrote stuff that I liked.
We could draw them to Aurora.
But it's also punk rock, and it's not. You
As long as
know,
they didn't have to go 10 miles out.
you
of
weren't writing
their
poppy
comfort
shit
zone.
to like attract everyone. You were writing stuff that you felt strongly about, and that drew people that that could relate to that and were interested in that, and that's
actually-
what we wanted to play.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about it is that it was all like legit to who we were.
Yeah.
It wasn't. We didn't need hooks.
Right.
And shit, because I don't like that kind of shit anyway.
I was
But
gonna say
I like-
that's where the
it's like-
maturity
to me,
comes
it's like
in
the
from a
hip-hop.
tag along to a false intent to short of all. Like this sounds like you guys were kids having fun making poppy stuff, and then the next level of that with false intent, and then short of all comes in and is like,
And we were
all
big, old
now
kids
we're older
playing
and
for-
we're mad about it.
We're all mad.
And it was also just changes in lineups, like other Dan, is that how we say it? Dan. Where he wrote popular music. He had like a cleaner sounding voice.
Yeah.
Like that was just kind of what he wrote, and that was that was just another band member. You'll hear a lot of bands that I've noticed later on, like a lot of bands I grew up with, a Catch-22 or like a bunch of other bands. When you find that album that you were like, I didn't really like that one or anything after it, you like find out that somebody left and then they were
Yeah.
like writing half the songs.
Right.
And so like it was that kind of thing where like we were definitely going to change styles because there was a main songwriter out, but then also we were just doing exactly what we wanted to do, and
Yeah.
it was not like trying to get somewhere in particular except for expressing ourselves and having fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Not, and then also curious too is 'cause I know the answer, but I'm curious exactly what songs. What did you guys take from Tag Along and Update to Short of All?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Taken for Granted was one of mine, and I think we only brought that over because it was one of mine. But
Is
other
that the
than
only
that,
one actually?
I think that was it. Then like
Yeah.
your
Oh,
guys'
Susanna,
which is in
we might have played
which,
that.
which
we
our
did,
Walsh
yeah.
also wrote.
That was only like I feel like that was only a short time though. Like it was on the EP, but I feel like you only played it.
We
live
didn't play it
a few
at
times.
shows a ton, but we played it a
Yeah.
few times.
Yeah,
And it
Walsh-
was definitely fucking way better once we had JJ, and then also when Matt and JJ were playing.
Yeah.
It was cool. And Dan, on the original song, recorded it on the banjo.
Really?
The solo
that's right.
part, yeah.
And I tuned it like a guitar because I didn't
That was
understand
at
what was
Apocalypse
happening
Cow.
with those.
Oh
weird
yeah, with that the first
That's
string
right.
that's higher than the other four.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That's crazy.
It's like that won't do it all.
But that song we re-recorded on the Creepy EP
did?
with JJ, and it's fucking badass.
It
I
is
think
awesome.
that song's awesome. I think that should be
Yeah.
on like Nickelodeon or
Do
something.
you have a favorite Short of All song?
The Fall, probably.
Yeah, Matt.
I think Turbo Sluts.
Jay?
Cheryl Sluts is good.
My favorite one to sing was probably Billy Idol, just like Billy Idol.
That's good.
Yeah.
But as far as my favorite one to like as a whole, I'm gonna have to go with The Fall too.
Jage?
Tough call. I'm thinking
Oh.
maybe just in general, probably Grand Illusion.
I was just gonna say I love Grand Illusion.
and then
That's probably actually my
favorite to play was probably like Turbo Sluts.
Hey, you want to know a fun short of all fact?
No,
That song was originally.
that's in the podcast right
Oh,
here.
Don't even care. That song was originally called The Grand Delusion. and you guys kept pronouncing it wrong.
Shut the fuck up, for real?
Fuck it, I'm not even gonna fight this battle anymore.
You're like, I think this is a Styx song, but fuck it.
Really?
Yeah.
The grand
Yeah, it was supposed to be a
deletion.
play on the Styx song and not a fucking copy of.
I didn't realize that there's a Styx song called "The Grand Illusion."
That's hilarious. Yeah, the Grand Illusion. I think also that particular recording just blew everything else away. Like it's actually my only problem I have with the stuff you guys put on streaming is that it doesn't have that first, because that song just rips so good. It's such a good first track to an album.
Yeah, I think we didn't. The thought of process on that was that we did lead with it on the split,
Yeah.
so we didn't. I think we talked about it.
Well, streaming, it doesn't matter. People are going to listen to it how they listen to it.
Well,
It's
unless
not-
they listen to it as an album like normal
Yeah.
people.
I feel like most people don't do that anymore.
Well, I do.
They just press shuffle on whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's stupid.
I think
They
a
should-
minor contribution I had was like, what if we opened with that? He starts, right? Remember that? What was that place? Was that the Double Door?
Yeah,
when the
that
curtains
was a
are
great
closed.
show.
I'm like, dude, just rip into the bass, and then all of a sudden the bass is playing, then the curtain starts to open, and then we start playing it.
Yeah, and then Jason threw up
Oh,
You did?
At the double door, yeah.
later
was
though.
your
Not
contribution.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of shows end like that.
No, it wasn't
No,
because it
actually-
wasn't because I was drunk.
Oh.
I had the flu,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah, and he gave it to the entire audience.
yeah.
You literally throw up and then get on stage?
But this was this
I
was
threw
before
up-
COVID. It was
I
okay
threw up
to
in the
give
green room.
people
Like
access.
we actually almost got kicked out because we brought our own cases of beer, and they were like, "You can't do that."
You know, they had
And
a
we're
cooler
like-
in there.
Nope. We almost got kicked out,
Oh, they had a fridge in there. Why did they have it?
and not for us.
They're
For Red
Yeah,
Bulls,
not
JJ.
for us.
Oh, okay.
I remember because Schmed was pissed off at us because they invited us to play and we brought beer and we're partying too hard.
I remember that happened to us too when we brought you on a show.
So
They wouldn't let
before-
our girlfriends go back there either.
Yeah.
Remember that?
So before we played, I took like a 10-minute nap and I woke up and threw up. And then we went up on stage and I sang my ass off. And then, like, literally as soon as we ended the song,
Yep.
the last song, I walked down the little 3 stairs off the stage and just just right into the fucking. And then I think I slept in the van for the rest of the night.
It was a great show, though.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
What I remember vividly from that show was Matt coming back to the green room at some point, and he walks in and he goes, "I'm gonna pee in this trash can," and indeed he did.
Oh, I wanted to put that on the split.
What?
Him
Well,
peeing
you
in
know,
the
we had
trash can.
Did you record
No,
it?
not on the split. Not on the split. On the Spotify picture that I had commissioned, where it has us all drawn. Originally we were like thinking of ideas of like having us in like precarious situations of like the crazy shit that we did.
Yeah.
And I think JJ brought up having Matt peeing in the trash can. I was like, that would be fucking awesome. We didn't do that, but
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we were getting kicked out.
yeah.
I think just accumulation of a lot of things. They're like,
Yeah,
we
we're
didn't get
bad
invited
people.
back there.
Yeah.
Well, we never played there before that either, so you know, fuck them.
It's a Yeti store now, so
There's a Yeti store, really?
yeah. That's what
We
it
should
became.
play there.
They were supposed to reopen it somewhere else, but they never did. Because of COVID, I think.
I would say a lot of venues are gone in general.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Riot Fest. That was pretty cool.
That's,
Oh, shit,
that's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
We
So
did that.
Yeah, that's true. As False Intent, you guys played Warped Tour, and then as Short of All, you guys got to play Riot Fest.
Yeah, and that's
the first
actually a
Riot
really
Fest.
cool
The very
story.
first, yeah, the very first Riot Fest.
And that's a really cool story too.
Because it
Because
has also gone off the rails and sucks now.
well, yes. Well, it doesn't suck. It's
Andy,
they still have some pretty big.
Andy.
They got some pretty big names though.
It's become everything it didn't want to be.
It's not
Commercially.
as. Yeah, it has problems, but it's not as bad as
Warped
the
Tour
turn that
became.
Warp Tour took.
That's true.
But regardless, the story is cool because the first show we actually played as Short of All was the Battle of the Bands to get onto Riot Fest. And so that was a big fucking deal because we hadn't played any shows, for a long time. And we were this new band with these new songs, and I don't know if Jason signed us up for it or how we got that.
Yeah. I believe it was like was it MySpace still, or were we onto Facebook yet?
I don't
Probably
know.
MySpace.
I think it was
I don't
MySpace because
remember.
I feel like we put our songs on there, or a couple of them.
But yeah, I was following, I followed a bunch of local bands, and I saw other bands that we were playing with at the time, like, posting about, like, the Battle of the Bands and getting into it. And I was like, well, it's fucking, like, I know we don't have much. Like, we're still a new band at the time.
But we had
Was
already
that-
recorded a couple
Yeah,
of songs.
and I was like,
'cause-
let's
We
see
had
if
a
we
30-minute
can.
set.
I think we
Yeah.
did the. Was that the Blue Horse or whatever the fuck?
The
It was?
Blue Note.
No, not the Blue Note.
The note.
The Note.
it was the note. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the note.
We did like a battle of the bands there, and we did really well.
Well, we placed
Yeah.
because
I
that
think
was
you guys
the actual.
might have done that without me.
Oh yeah. No,
I
the
think
second
s-
one was without you.
Okay.
The first one we
I know
did.
there was one we did where I couldn't make it because I
So
was working.
So we played the first one, and then we got. I don't think it was. I think we had won
Yeah.
a spot, and then they had
At
like a
least we
showcase.
moved on to the next round. Yeah.
And then they had a showcase,
Yeah.
and that was we had already won, so we were going to be part of Riot Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just like a showcase show, and then Jason got sick, right?
I think I had to work or something. There's some reason
I thought you
couldn't
got
go.
sick, so I think it was just
But
me,
you sang
Dan,
all
and
my
JJ.
songs, yeah.
So Dan was singing, actually Jason's parts.
That's interesting.
I have it on video actually, because back in the day when we first started Short of All, I bought your old video camera from you, by the way.
Which I got from, I had Jason steal.
Which I stole from Circuit City.
Oh, that okay. I thought you meant you stole it from me. I'm like, I still
that's
have
why
it.
they went out.
I
of
think we
business.
actually traded. I think I got your projector.
Oh, okay. For the
Which was also stolen.
I paid for it.
That's true.
Yeah, but not a. It's
Anyway,
initially
I
it's
recorded.
stolen.
I recorded every
Yeah.
show that we did for like the first like 19 shows.
Really. Have you ever released any of that?
Well, most of it I had like
There's Mojo or not Mojo's. What's the one in DeKalb? What's that place called?
Autos?
Autos.
I mean, it's
autos.
gone now, but yeah.
That was a good show too.
That's
Yeah.
on YouTube, I think.
Oh, that was with the Toasters.
Yeah,
That was a really
fun.
good show.
that was huge.
Yeah, we played up there, dude. It's not about me.
That place is gone too. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But no, I had most of it digitized, and so I do have it on private on my YouTube channel. I want to cut it up though,
Yeah.
and make sure there's nothing like horribly foul on
Incriminating.
there. But yeah, no, I got a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, we only had like a 30-minute set, like Dan was saying.
Yeah.
So, and it sucks. I wish I would have kept recording longer and like more, because most of what I have is like the first year of us, and it's all the same songs,
Yeah.
but in different places. But it's still cool to see. And I have some stuff of us recording, some of the demos and things like that. So
Yeah. A minute ago, you were alluding to the precarious situations. What are some of your favorite stories as a band?
yeah, we got a lot of stories with the
geez.
different band houses and stuff like that. Should we start with the first house?
That house sucked.
It was fucking awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was awesome once I was actually on the lease and I wasn't getting charged to live there, even though I wasn't on the lease. And that guy was an asshole and he hated me. And then Walsh moved in with us too,
Yeah.
because you had two other roommates.
Yeah. Well, it was me and JJ. So, first of all, I was being pressured by my mom to move out of my house. And, not like, you gotta go, but it was like, Andy, when are you gonna get a job? And like,
She's Jerry Seinfeld.
what's the deal with kids?
What's the deal with Andy in the basement?
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, well, what if we like rented a house and got like some people to move in there? And so I started looking around and I found some different places and I asked people, and JJ was interested, and I found two people. Well, Mark from work,
Oh, Mark, that was his name.
not Mark.
Craig.
Mark was the other guy. Craig. Yeah, Craig.
And
So Craig said he was interested, and Craig had a friend named Mark.
yeah.
And they were both like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it." And so I called around, found some places, and there's several places where I like called, and I was like, "Oh yeah, me and these three guys, we're college students, and we're looking to rent a house." And I'd be like, "Click," like they wanted nothing to do with it. But this poor Indian man
He was a dick.
did agree to it, and he made money, so that was good. But so me and JJ and Mark and Craig moved into this house in Aurora, and it was fucking awesome. It was like way better than anything we should have had. Like it was like a single family home, and it was real nice and had wood floors.
That was
and,
a house on Wilson?
Wilson Creek.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wilson Creek.
And it was badass, and we totally fucking rocked the shit out of that place. Like we had people over every single night,
I remember waking up under the chairs and tables a few times.
drinking beer all the time. That's like right when I started working at Guitar Center, I think. And like the neighbors always complained because we always had people parked up and down the
I
road.
remember the one guy that would always come over. I remember he brought a case of beer. He's like, "Listen, I'm cool.
Was that Jeff?
You guys
or
are cool.
was that?
Like, you know, I want
From
to
across the
let
street?
you know that I'm like a cool guy." But he had like a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
Jeff.
"My babies are trying to sleep."
Yeah.
And you're like,
He was
"I
trying
don't
to be
give a
cool
fuck,"
about it,
right?
And we're like, "Hey, thanks for the beer.
Yeah,
we'll
but
be cool."
Continued the noise.
Oh yeah.
But think about that now. If you're trying to go to someone's house, like, "Can you guys be quiet? Like, my kids are asleep," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Fuck that guy."
Yes. No,
It's
it was
all reciprocal.
I
all
knew
reciprocal.
that it was shitty
Because
at
it's
the
a circle,
time,
Yeah.
a corner.
but also I was like, you know,
We were having fun.
I was like, fuck you. I'm gonna turn the fourth bedroom into a studio, and I put drums in there. And one day I tried to play, and I had hung up all the fucking sound treatment and everything. It sounded great. I had the mics in there. It was
That's the most
badass.
excited I've ever heard, Andy. This is great.
It was badass. And then Jeff comes over and he's like, "You're waking my baby up." I was literally rattling. I think he said I shook a picture off of the baby's wall.
There was
There's no
there was like
fucking
a
way.
20-foot gap between our houses.
Yeah.
And
It was
I remember when he
across the
cleaned.
street.
No, he
No.
was next door.
It was
but
next
like
door.
there was still open space and
Oh.
grass, and I was like,
Who was the guy across the street?
"Oh, that was the
There
guy
was
that
no
I was
one-
upset with your
Yeah, that guy
your
hated my
exhaust."
car.
Yeah,
Cars.
There was no one across the street at Wilson Creek Circle, though.
yeah, there was. It was
I thought across the street, wasn't it?
He came
Yeah.
out a few
Oh, okay.
times to tell me,
It's the old post.
you
didn't
need to
have
buy
much
a new
solid
exhaust. And I
records.
said,
Yeah.
you need to go back to your house.
Go
No,
to
but-
your house, buddy.
But JJ, when I tried to do the studio up there, and I didn't do any sound treatment or sound proofing, it was just treatment. So like the acoustics sounded great, but there was nothing stopping the sound leaving the room. And there was a window there too, which I had put like that egg padding shit that we had at my parents' house in front of the window. Didn't help. But my bass drum was facing his baby's room. So when I hit it, I have no doubt that
You
it
can feel it in
knocked
the
shit
heart.
off of his wall.
okay. All right.
Was there not a basement there?
There
It was
was,
basement.
but I was trying to, utilize this
That-
room as a studio.
I did find that a little bit funny that like he had kind of complained about the noise and tried to be cool, and then later on after that we put drums upstairs 2 floors up. We went from the basement to like the highest point we could find in the house
I don't-
next to
Aimed
his
at his
house.
house.
I don't know if that was before he came over though.
I think it was.
Okay.
I think
Well,
we had already had a bit of a thing. You were like, "We're gonna make it sound really good," and then he's like, "No, you're not."
that does track. And then so we did eventually just move it all down to the basement, and then it got to a point where like he was calling the cops, and like the cops would show up and be like, "You have to stop," and we're like, "What the fuck?" And it was super stressful. Like there was a point where I got like really sick, like this is disgusting feeling. Like fuck, what are we can't play music here anymore.
Yeah.
Because this guy's just gonna call, and we weren't playing at like 11 o'clock at night.
Was there
We're talking
no,
about, like,
at that time? Was there no like we can play here at this time at least? It was just no, you can't do shit.
I think
There
there
was
was.
a-
I think at a certain
Yeah.
point, it got to the point that he called the police so often
Yeah.
that they came out and they listened, like from the street while we were practicing.
Yeah,
and he
that's
was like, the police were like, "Listen, I understand that you can hear it, but you're not exempt from hearing your neighbors
Right.
between these hours. And if you keep calling the police, there's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be harassment against your neighbors, against us." And so it was like, yeah, that's too damn bad that you can hear what your neighbors are doing
As
during
long
the
as
day.
it's not after like 9
Yeah,
o'clock.
it
and
was.
shit.
I think it was 10.
well, that's when it cleared up though. But there was a short period of time where the cops were coming and they told us, like it was something like they could not come back again, or if they did, there was gonna be a problem. So I was like, oh my god, like what are we gonna do? Like we can't even practice here at like 6 at night
Yep.
or something.
Yeah, but I think once it got
But
to
then
the
we
point,
figured it out.
it got to the point where they were like, we have to look at what the law states.
Right.
And the law stated that certain decibel levels and certain times of day and
Mm-hmm.
certain zoning for residential and blah blah blah. It was like, according to the law, these guys can jam before 10 o'clock.
But they pushed it. That guy pushed it to the limit.
He really did. Yeah.
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 And that's the reason that we made that sticker that says "Short of all wakes babies."
That's right.
That's funny. What? So you guys played on the radio.
College radio. But
That was
yeah,
a
college
tag
radio.
along, yeah.
Was that tag along?
No, that was short
was
ball.
short
Oh,
ball.
and short wall, yeah.
Oh, so you played twice, eh?
Yeah, Tagalong was at Eastern Illinois University, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we played twice as short of all on 89.1.
yeah, a couple times. I think,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
The first time I think was the one.
I think
that
we went
fell
and hung
asleep
out
behind
and
the.
got on the air.
that the first
more than
time?
A couple of times, but
Yeah.
We used to just hang out with Kevin Gordon all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Well, I remember
played,
I was with you guys when you. That wasn't when you played. That was what's her name's last day at the show.
Kara.
Yeah, and we
Oh,
were
I
all
think those
there.
two were, like they were graduating and we were playing
Yeah.
like the last show for
Jason
Is
that.
that
kept
Kara,
touching
White
the
Mike?
button
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
swearing into the microphone
What?
and while the music, when they were live.
I don't cuss.
But Kara didn't give a shit because it was her last day.
Oh yeah, remember we had an F-bomb count on the chalkboard because we were playing in like
Oh,
the
that was when
classroom
we
next
played
door.
live. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that recorded. I've got a recording of us in the back room there, and us getting ready, and then you can hear like the radio, like, "Oh no, short of all, blah blah blah."
It
Then
wasn't
we-
on site where the studio was, right? It was down.
No, it was all in like a very tiny building.
Yeah.
And then so the studio was like in the front room, and then just down the hall, not far away, there was a back room, and there was like school desks and shit in there. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
had to like part of our responsibility to being able to play there was like to move everything out of the way. I feel like, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys book the shows on the radio?
I think
Well,
Jason
I went
knew,
to
right?
school. I went to school there.
Oh, that's
Oh,
it.
you
Yeah.
Yeah,
did,
so
He was
That's right.
roommates
I
with
knew
Gordon.
those guys. Actually, I roommated with one of those guys senior year when we secretly reignited the band. One of the all ages hosts was my roommate.
Oh, nice.
On actually, I knew them before he lived with them because I would just go. Like I used to call into All Ages Radio all the time and request songs, and then like AOL Instant Messenger, like I would joke with them all the time.
AOL.
And then like they would have little contests and like if you come to the studio, this and that. So I would go up there and I'd fucking met them all and. So
It got to a point where we met them, or hung out with them, I should say, as Short of All so often
Yeah,
that
they-
occasionally I would drop a little nugget of North Central College lore. And I remember one time Ryan was like, "How do you know that?" And I was like, "I've gone to school here with you for 3 years." And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot."
Yeah.
They were really cool though.
Yeah.
Like they let us play on there, and then they would also, I think, like
Yeah, I was going
both
up there
times.
I was going up there when Ryan Mano was still the DJ.
Yeah. Wow. That's a long
Then he
time.
started working on Man Cow and shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Kevin did too. They
Did
were the Mano brothers
Oh,
on
yeah.
Q101. for a
Mano
while.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like, did we get 2 sets or 3 sets? And then
2 or 3, yeah.
it was either 2 or 3, and
a couple
but
songs at a time.
in
And it was a
between-
3-hour
in
long
between.
show. It
In
was like from
between,
1 a.m. to 4 a.m.
they would have they would
something like
have
that.
us come in and interview us,
Yep.
and that was really cool. And like I think we did that again, like right,
Yeah, we did it a
like when
couple
we
times.
started being like it was really awesome when Short of All first started because we did that Battle of the Bands and we won it to get the spot at Riot Fest, and then I think we went on All Ages, and we got to like be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be at Riot Fest and da 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 da, and so it was all just like a whirlwind of like. Now we're a band again, and holy shit! Now we got all these big shows, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a lot to happen fast, like all at once.
But you had to sell tickets to determine your spot
Right. Yeah.
at Warped Tour, and of course we didn't sell any.
Because we
Or-
didn't have fans, we only had friends.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the friends that did buy tickets, which I don't think was a ton, because a lot of them probably just went. But we ended up getting the first slot, which I think is actually kind of cool now in terms of history. Like we can be like, yes, we were the first band to play at the first spot at Riot Fest, at the first Riot Fest.
Yeah.
But a lot of our friends like were outside still,
Yeah,
like
that
waiting
was
in
kinda
line to
shitty.
come in, so they didn't get tears. But we did have a pretty good crowd in there.
Yeah. Like you said, the history of it is probably cooler than the actual
Yeah,
story.
it was.
I
Cool
don't
being,
even
it was
give-
cool being part of like all the meetings beforehand.
Yeah.
And we got to go to like exclusive like private shows.
Did you guys do that as a group?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah,
I just
actually-
like playing at Congress. I thought
Yeah,
that
I was just gonna
amazing.
say
We-
like,
yeah,
And
we-
walking around
having
behind the
this-
stage and everything.
Yeah, having the space to like run around with my guitar like on that big of a stage. And,
Oh, that was too big
and when
of a
you
stage.
like, well, there in Warped Tour, like when you have them cranking up the sound, when you like when they've mic'd up your amp and all of a sudden it just goes wow, like
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's so
oh,
cool.
that is real sound.
That is
All
really
right.
cool, but it's nothing compared to when you hit the bass
The
drum.
drums.
When you hit the bass drum, it's like boom. You're like, holy fuck! I got a cannon attached to my foot.
And then when you talk to
This
the
is
mic, you're like,
amazing.
oh no, everyone can hear me now.
One of the cool
sure
things.
Oh my god.
Come see us again.
One of the cool things about Congress too, and playing Riot Fest was I was just watching this again because I have some digitized footage from that. We were recording like behind the scenes and stuff there, and we found like the kitchen for the bands and stuff, and we filmed it. So I have this. There's footage of the special request lists
The riders.
from a bunch of the bands, and like Suicide Machines has like like this special yogurt and this kind of milk and da 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 da. And there's like it lists a bunch of different bands that we all know,
Oh yeah,
and
I
like
remember
they're
that.
cool, funny like things that like they asked for, like
Yeah,
their
there was
demands or whatever.
I think it was Suicide Machines had like a throne with like a realistic looking lion sitting with a scepter or something.
I don't know about that, but
It was something goofy like that that was definitely like not meant to
Did
be.
you guys
stuff-
ever try stuff like that?
no,
And the
asking for
rider?
shit like that.
No.
Who would give it to us?
One time we played
we were
a
just
show,
so happy to be
and they
there.
asked us like for special requests.
Oh, look at you,
This is when
Hollywood.
Yunker was still in the band. Yunker was like, "We need a bagel cart with these specific bagels." It's kind of cream cheese.
I'm actually about
Like
to bounce.
totally taking the piss.
Did they do it?
They took us off the show.
I was gonna say, where do you even find a bagel cart?
He was just making a joke, but I thought it was funny.
Didn't land.
No, it didn't land at all. Matt, what's your favorite short of all story?
Oh, we didn't even talk about all the houses.
We
There's
started
a lot of good house
We got
stuff.
caught up in how we got the house.
I think a good memory from the first house was actually messing with
Take it
Gage
off?
a little bit. He's
Jay's
leaving.
got to go.
JJ's got to go, folks.
See you, dude.
Later on, brother.
Love you, brother.
Take it easy.
Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna keep it rolling, I guess.
JJ, everybody.
I'm gonna tell a story about you as you're leaving.
Yeah.
We got some sushi.
JJ
Just applaud
Schwaz.
those.
JJ Schwaz, everyone.
We should talk about the dildo
Beautiful
story.
boy.
We got
Oh.
some sushi, and
Oh, JJ's face dildo.
Jage never had
We talked about that already.
what's the green stuff with the sushi?
Wasabi.
Yeah, he's never had wasabi before, so I'm like, oh, dude, you just load it up. It's delicious. It's like sweet and savory.
JJ?
He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, he loaded up
Oh,
a
okay.
piece and it fucking destroyed his mouth. So that's like
Hell yeah.
such a fond memory. I
he
think that was
used
like
to be the lead
that was my
singer.
first mess around with him.
He used to be the lead singer, then once you did that, he
Yeah,
couldn't sing
that was
anymore.
the end.
He's fun to
Destroyed
mess
his
with.
larynx
He could barely talk.
with wasabi. I don't know if I have like specifics. It's just so many like bits and pieces of just traveling
I feel
out
like the dildo
there,
one's really good though.
hiding the dildo in different places.
How about how we acquired the dildo? And by we, I mean like the house.
I
We got-
remember it
oh,
being
yeah.
used, right?
You
won it.
won it with your costume.
Yeah, it was
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. Well, then
the Big Easy.
Jason should say then.
Was it the
The
Swedish
later,
beer.
the later Hosen.
yeah.
That is a very fond memory because I think that was the first time I played live with you guys.
Was it?
Is that right?
way, right?
I'm pretty sure. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. And it was Halloween, and it was like you guys had everyone there that you knew, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is so overwhelming and incredible at the same time. And like, please let me not mess this up.
And
But
you
like
didn't.
you said, I would put my spin on all the songs, and I just got to be myself and jump around, and that was magical. I do remember that show. It was a
That was
Halloween
when you
show.
were Tigger, right, Jason?
Yeah.
And you were Batman?
But
But like an
no, I
old.
think I was Popeye. Popeye was in his own show. God, we
Yeah.
played a lot of.
No, you were.
Halloween
I
shows.
think you were.
Halloween shows was my favorite.
They're the fun.
I think
my
you were
favorite.
Batman, and it was like
think that's-
Yeah, you
it was
were.
like a
AJ was
kid's
Spider-Man.
suit.
Yeah, it was so tight.
It was like a kid's version of the costume,
Yeah.
so it was like super tight.
Yeah, and people
You
were
were,
like, "How can his pants be so
Awesome,
tight? And I
Cartman,
still
yeah.
can't see his bulge."
Yeah.
I don't think that's what people were
Did
looking
you
at.
play that show with us?
Yeah.
I was a ladybug that night.
Yeah, I
that's
wore your
And
costume.
you
the
wore
next
that
night.
costume. You guys played with One Day Criminal the next night. Another Halloween show. and
Yeah,
Jason
Wisconsin,
wore
I think it was.
That was Kristen's ladybug costume from the year before that I stuffed myself into.
I actually have a picture of Jason wearing that costume.
Do you? Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
and he's doing something in that photo with his leg, and there's a
My
tear
My balls were out.
in the bottom, and you can definitely see his balls.
I got a
Nice.
picture of me and Danny T with my balls out too. It's
I'm trying to
hilarious.
see a
Hey,
thing.
once
here.
is an accident, twice a coincidence. Three's a pattern.
3 is a pattern.
Good thing he's only got 2 balls.
Andy's got 3.
Yeah, and he's got working on that third one over there.
Working on it.
I mean, that second house was incredible too.
Yeah, that's
The
a lot of fun.
backyard, like the space.
Oh,
we
my
had.
favorite thing
Talk
about-
about not deserving a house. The first one was awesome, but the
Every
second
time
was like,
it goes up
come
for
on,
sale
dude.
now, I'm like, man, I want to buy it.
That house was
But it goes
a
up
gem.
every time it's for sale.
It was magical, dude. It was awesome.
That was a good find, and we were really lucky to get it. And one of the funniest things that I remember about that house was when you would fucking mow the lawn in your like Hawaiian swim trunks.
I love those trunks.
What was the top that you would wear? Was it just like just plain?
That was
something?
just his
I feel like it
chest
was-
hair.
Sort of
man.
like V-neck or something. I don't know.
I feel
Probably
like there was
Hawaiian
something funny
t-shirt.
about the top too, but
Probably
And then you had your
my
black-
Aladdin vest.
and then you had your black socks like pulled up like to your knees almost, and like you just go out there and like mow the lawn like you did the butt thing where you're like this.
That looks awesome for the podcast.
Yeah, shaking.
Well, if you really want to see it,
Let's
come hang
describe
out
you
with us.
shaking your ass in my face and your crack was out.
Yeah, my crack never goes away.
Eventually, you're just all ass.
Yeah.
Happens to the best of us.
First you're born, and then your ass.
It was nice to be official, like get a room, you know? I remember talking to Jage because you guys had decided your bedrooms. You're like, dude, I want the biggest room. That's got to be mine.
We
Yep.
made you pay for that,
Is-
though.
Yeah, I paid extra.
and
not
then
much,
Andy
but-
had an awesome room in the corner, and you're like, I call this room.
My room was not. I think my room was at
It was
least
the second
as small
biggest.
as yours.
No, it's the second biggest.
JJ had the smallest one.
I was like,
He had
I'll
the
pay
smallest
more
one.
to like
Yeah.
have this room, and he's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's totally fine. So we did have a small room. I had this amazing room facing the
Yeah,
backyard.
I think your room was better than mine.
It had a lot of space in it. No, yours was sizable, but to be like involved in that and have
not
that
small,
room
it's
and
nice.
like all those experiences, I don't know. It was
Yeah.
didn't feel real.
I mean, I spent a lot of time there too.
Yeah.
You did. I mentioned earlier before we started recording
freeloaders.
about the
Oh, you're a
time that you
freeloader, yeah.
tried to do Hour of Power with vodka
vodka.
shots.
Yeah.
And I
'cause
don't,
I don't
what,
drink
what,
beer.
what did he make it to?
Like 17.
17.
And they were double shots.
But he
Yeah.
fell over and knocked over a couch.
I broke that couch. I'm pretty sure.
That was JJ's couch.
Well, that was because you and Nick were wrestling on it.
Yeah, I'm a couple of big boys.
You didn't break it. It was still functional. Yeah, we used it until we left.
Your wife actually recorded me doing
Your
gymnastics
fucking
in
wife.
the kitchen.
You know?
Gymnastics?
I don't know. There's no way she still has that video. It was so long ago.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Oh, and Jade, before we got on, was talking about.
Now that he's
somebody-
gone, can we just finally...
He's out of the band.
Yeah, he had a good run. But he was not talking about somebody taping shit all over the house.
Yeah.
I was like, that was me and Jason.
Oh yeah, what happened with that? Because I don't think I ever saw that.
Jason and I messed
Alcohol
with
happened.
JJ the most.
Yeah.
Like, Melissa hated us.
Yeah, you stole his car
I'm
one
pretty
time.
sure she's still that.
We,
No, we didn't. We borrowed his car.
Yeah, you took his car without
against his
asking,
will. Yeah.
and
Well,
then you went.
We asked and he
places
said
with
no.
Yeah.
And we were like, I guess we'll just take it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's his
so he
fault.
actually said no.
That's his fault for
He
leaving
said
the
no like
keys
10
down.
times. Like, you can
I
only
think
hear
what
no
you
9
mean
times.
is yes.
And we didn't ask him to use his car. We asked him to move his fucking car.
Right, that's right.
And he would not do it. So
Yeah.
we just stole the fucking thing.
So he wasn't gonna move it. So
We went
you
to
were
Taco
gonna-
Bell. It was like a block away.
Did you get him
Literally.
anything?
No.
You should have got him like a fucking cheesy roll up, something shitty. That's just like a
He
consolidation
just
or
whipped it
a
at his,
consolation
just got
prize.
that
Like
and whipped it
here,
at his window.
fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Here's your cheesy roll up.
Well, Jason and I would get inebriated and then like make a scene, do
wait.
something dumb, and then the next day we would watch River Monsters all day on the couch.
Yeah,
was
Walsh didn't get to live with us there.
That's
no,
true.
not there.
That's
Get
I spent
to.
enough time there, but
You
you
mean
ever
he
have fun
chose to leave?
always.
Yeah. I actually remember we had all done a show together, and then when we got back and put all the gear away, me, Jay, Jason, and Deebs were like, we should make a band.
Yeah.
And then we didn't do anything
We
with
didn't do
that.
anything
How
with it.
false
That's
intent
We
of you.
talked about it.
Yeah, well, because I've got a couple of old recordings of me and you just jamming
We played a
randomly
bit.
at a
Yeah.
party,
Yeah.
and just like being like, "Hey, can everybody shut up for a while?" I actually kind of liking what we're doing right here.
Hey guys, listen to this.
Yeah. Or whenever you guys were at work, me and Deebs would just be jamming in the basement.
We had a good run, dude. You know,
Yeah.
they brought us together for a
This
little
is
bit.
like a
That was fun.
sub band.
Yeah.
Like a meta band.
I think we always wanted to do some cool because I feel like we're aligned with the other stuff you like also.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I remember we went to a Nomo show.
Yes.
We went out and
Nomo.
got shithoused first.
Yes.
And then we drunkenly made it to that Nomo show
Awesome.
with what's her name? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. But yeah, Because I was. That's the only time I've ever think I've been embarrassed. Because those were all like pompous, pretentious jazz artists,
Oh yeah.
and I was the only drunk asshole there. Do you remember that?
They were so good, dude.
Are they?
I met them
So
through
cool.
Guitar Center, and they invited me out.
Really?
Yeah, because I used to
that's
sell
awesome.
them pedals and stuff.
Yeah.
They got huge. They played like Bonnaroo
Yeah,
and stuff.
they're
And
really good.
They recognized me at Bonnaroo, which was awesome.
I dropped a full
That's
12-ounce
super
cup of alcohol, and like made a
Oh,
big scene. I
A
was
whole
like,
12
yeah.
ounces, huh?
oh, well, I mean, like a heavy cup.
Good job, bud.
I felt bad. I hugged the bass player
Going back to
awkwardly
your original
afterwards.
story.
He didn't hug you back.
Aren't jazz people pretty much drunk anyway? Like, not actually, but like
No,
they
they're
act
so
like it.
artistic it hurts, dude.
All the
Like,
notes are random. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very.
They don't even
yeah,
know what
very-
they're doing.
It's freestyle. It's fine.
Back to your original question. Favorite part about living together.
Yeah.
I think it was our theme parties, and then we would play.
Oh yeah.
We would play every party, like we would, and
That was fucking rad.
we would
Yeah.
always. Every party was a different theme. Like we had a beach party, we had Christmas
Superhero?
parties, we had superhero
That was
parties.
Gina's birthday.
Like, we had a '70s party where I was on fucking roller skates all night.
That's awesome.
But we would always play. Like we'd play like a 20, 30-minute set,
Yeah.
and just the whole basement, just everybody singing along. Fucking so much fun. We'd make jungle juice in the water cooler.
Yeah.
Ruined that water cooler forever because
Just-
we didn't clean it out after we were
It's
done.
so much fun, man.
gotta
I think
ferment,
that's my
right?
favorite. Is
I
just
think that night the jungle
Short of
Juice
all
night,
parties
people
were
were
the
peeing
best
in the
parties.
drain in the floor in the
Oh,
basement.
yeah.
That was
floor,
Nate
the concrete
Salisbury,
floor,
yeah.
But I think that's one of the things that was like back then. That was the to do. There was a one of
I'm
our
pretty sure
bands
we
had a
packed-
show.
Close to 100 people in our basement.
Yeah, and if there wasn't a show, we were playing at a house party somewhere.
Yeah.
And we had a badass setup too with that because we had the PA and everything down there, and it
Yeah,
sounded good.
With the whole snake and everything that ran upstairs.
Yeah,
and
it sounded
everything.
good as fuck. And yeah, that was the other cool thing, is that because I had the mixer upstairs and the snake running downstairs, you could be downstairs and be watching us play, or anyone that was upstairs was listening to like studio quality.
Like live sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was badass. It was like House of Blues or something. The only thing we didn't have was video. That would have been cool.
That would have been next time.
Different time.
Next time.
We'll get it next time.
Next life.
Do you guys think that you would like? We were just talking about finishing old stuff,
Excuse me.
and it honestly, at this day and age, it doesn't take much. You don't even have to be together to do it. Do you think that you would find or have any interest in finishing? Not maybe writing new stuff, but finishing what exists, just to like put a final kibosh on that chapter, or are you just like whatever it is, what it is?
Personally, I don't know if I got the chops to finish that. I
Really?
think the stuff that I wrote that got half recorded, like along with Deeves' tune.
I believe it goes by Deepsies.
Deeves.
It's Mr. Deebs these days.
Yeah, it's S''S. Yeah, I think that was at the peak of my musicianship, and when I was playing all the time. I think if I tried to do that again, I would have to relearn a lot of stuff.
You don't think it would take like a couple weeks just to get back into it?
I mean, if you're talking weeks, we're talking weeks of dedication. That
Like, I think
don't
you
know
can
if I
casually
got
do it
the-
in a couple.
I think it would
of
take a little long. Maybe not.
Even if it took 2 months, I'm just like in general. Do you have the interest to do it? And I guess I hear what you're saying. Like
You
that
definitely
comes with
could
the
do it,
commitment.
I'd be more interested in trying something new.
Yeah, I like new things.
I think I would be more interested in doing something new also. And I also feel like the older that we get and the more we listen and pontificate about what we've done in the past, I feel like we could make something better.
Yeah,
Even though we haven't
Yeah.
been doing anything like music-wise. Well, I don't know about you, but in terms, and or you, Jason, but I haven't been doing anything music-wise or writing or anything like that really. But I just feel like being older and wiser and having different experiences and like being able to look back at what we've done with like a different perspective makes me feel like we could make different decisions and do something that's better.
That
And
whole
I think I would
idea-
like to do something new too.
that whole idea I think is actually amazing because that's how I feel too. Like even when I think about like little things like the podcast, where I'm like, okay, here's the first idea, let's just get it going just to start. I'm interested in like next year. What's gonna look like next year? What idea am I gonna have 2 years? Like that's where the real growth is, and that's where like I'm excited to see what comes next. Just like when we would write music, and by the time you're playing it live, you're like, I'm so sick of these songs, and then you record them, you're like, I hate them. But then like the next thing you write, you're like, this is amazing. until that you hate that, and then the next thing's always better, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
I would love to go back and play that stuff. I still feel like I still missed out on my moments, like to be able to write some riffs and to write
I
some
would like to
songs
finish the
and
stuff that you started.
it'd be cool. But maybe I can be an integral part in something new to bring new ideas, and maybe that's where I can finally like be an ultimate contribution. But I've still been playing all these years. I still play guitar. I play for my boys, and I've written a bunch of just finger picking style, stuff. And then, of course, after Short of All, we had Jed and James and the Multifelons, which was the last kind
Which
of
I
like,
also recorded, you guys.
Yeah.
You did, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was very fun. It was a great time. But
I would love
after
to
that, I
do
didn't have
those.
anything
I would
serious.
love to do both.
Yeah.
Finish the old shit and do a few new ones just for shits and gigs.
I guess I should clarify that I wouldn't want to like just throw
I got
everything
nothing
away.
but time.
I don't want to like go rehash.
You idiots had kids like idiots.
We're dumb.
Or
I'm
we're really
alone.
smart because
And
we're
it's great.
because we
You have money and hobbies.
we created the new generation that's gonna make music that you'll be
There's nothing sad about my life.
you'll be too dead to listen to
Yeah.
once they finally create it.
Andy, are your kids? Because you got a decent like age range there. Are they starting to get into music?
My oldest, Izzy, she loves singing and dancing and performing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The middle one, Addie, she
She's a
likes to do
gangster.
the same thing, but not nearly as much at this time.
Yeah.
They're both really interested in like drums, and Izzy's expressed some interest in like guitar and stuff. And I have done some stuff with them with like recording just to, so they have an experience with that and understand like, oh yeah, you can like record your voice singing, and then
Yeah.
you can listen to that, and then also record something on top of that, like layering and things like that, just to see if they're interested in it. And yeah, so I mean, they've had some exposure, but they're not like, do anything crazy
Right.
at this time.
That's
But
cool.
performing and singing for sure. They
James,
love
what about
music.
your kids? Oh, you left because you don't care about the show. You guys, I don't know if you guys saw that.
They
He
made
got-
me leave the podcast.
He got a text and it was like, "Oh, you gotta go."
They like mini golf. And,
These kids are really little though too.
Yeah, they're
and your kids are still.
Yeah.
One was 4.
yeah, 4. Yeah, Theo. He kind of bops on the guitar a little bit. He kind of
Yeah.
watches me because like we're not really like let's put the TV on and just fucking sit there and stare. We're like
Sure.
let's play songs and make up silly stuff like butts, poop comes out of the butt and farts, and we're like singing and
The essentials.
And they
Oh,
all
you
like,
should make it like a
it's all
Raffi
like
album.
dinosaurs. Yeah, sing about
Poop
trucks
comes
and
out of the
dinos.
butt.
Yeah, but and that's really fun. They see me play. My hopes are that they would play. If they don't want to play, that's fine.
Sure, yeah.
But I had bought them before I left Guitar Center. I had bought them heirloom guitars. The idea is that they can have these nice ass guitars if they ever want to play.
That's
One was a
genius.
Taylor. I mean, with the discount, it's incredible. So one was a Taylor, and
Should
that's
go
for
back to
that's for
working there
Oliver.
so I can get some discounts.
And it was built in the same year. The idea was to have guitars made the same year they were born.
That's
Oh,
fucking
wow.
awesome.
So it's a 2022 guitar
Come
for
on.
Ollie
Look at this
in the
guy.
same
That's
month,
awesome.
July. So that one's killer.
Bruh.
The other one was it's also 2019 for Theo, but it was a different month. I think it was November or something. He was born in December.
Well, you don't have to tell them that.
No, oh yeah.
Well,
It
now
says
I
Oh
know.
yeah, edit
It
that.
says it in there, right?
Yeah,
I would
with
like
the
to
serial
read
numbers.
it. I'd like to
So I have a
reiterate.
2019
There's
guitar and a
nothing
2022
sad
guitar.
about
So
my
it's
life.
guitars like they were
Yeah.
created and the guitars were created. So
That's pretty
even if they don't want
incredible.
to, play, they'll still pawn them someday when they're 18
Sure.
and fucking
Yeah.
buy drugs, whatever they want to do. But
This
they're there.
incredibly
Well,
sentimental
probably
thing
for
that
me,
my dad got for me.
So I have those guitars that I play for them as their babies.
That's amazing.
And then they can have them someday.
Wish you were
so.
my dad.
Yeah, me too.
Be everyone's dad.
My dad just hit me and stuff.
I hit them too.
His
I
dad
wish you were
didn't
my
even hit him.
lover.
He just abandoned him. My dad hit me.
My dad hit me, dude.
You want to dad me, bro?
Did he hit you with a Taylor?
No.
Oh, so
Well, then he
the-
didn't love you.
Our dads couldn't afford Taylors,
Yeah.
Andy.
We had the
You were the
whatever.
rich boy.
I got the
I didn't
Taylor,
have a Taylor.
Taylor for Ollie, Taylor for Oliver, and I got a Gibson for Theo. So it's like
That's great.
$6,000 worth of guitars. Plus I have the HD28, so I have like my heirloom
Who's the rich
guitar.
boy now?
No, it's with the discount, dude.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like half. It's like 50%.
That's still
And then I
a lot.
booked.
That's like
I,
That's a lot of money.
$5,000.
I
That's
invested
badass.
and I left.
Yeah.
But I throw shakers at them. They like to shake and
Yeah.
You throw
bop
them
on
at
hand
them?
drums. Yeah, I mean I don't hit them.
Like
I throw
dodge and
objects
shit?
at them.
Yeah.
They hear the shakers coming at them. It's like cheating. But so
you
I
gotta
would love for
warn
them to play. If they don't play, that's okay.
Yeah.
I would like to play for them. Like, oh, look at Dad on stage playing. That's why I would still like to be in a group and get together and be like, I used to play with these guys 10, 20 years ago, and now it's all come full circle. But
Dan Aveda's
Maybe.
considerably older,
Yeah.
but she's very musical.
Dude, better
She's
than
insane.
me,
Like
man.
she's better than all of us.
Yeah, she was.
She should write the new songs
she's
for
been a
Short of All.
percussionist all her life, so she.
Yeah.
Oh
plays,
shit, she can play drums too.
Yeah,
after
she
that.
plays, she plays drum kit. She plays like
She sings and plays
marimba
drums at the same
xylophone
time.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was
And
in a
race
steel drum band.
I've actually seen her perform.
Yeah, she sings.
Sat next to her
She's
mom
awesome.
and watched
She's
her perform one day.
about to graduate in education, but she's got a music minor because she wants to use that with kids.
With the,
you know, yeah, she's awesome.
special needs.
She's badass.
That is pretty awesome. Do you, to your point, Matt, too, you were just saying, like, wishing you were still in a group so your kids could see you. Do you guys ever feel that in general? Like, now that it's been like 14 years since the last show,
Stop saying that.
and like, I don't feel like
Man said 2 decades.
it's almost
Yeah.
That's
like-
near.
The fuck is wrong with you guys?
But do you ever feel like
There's nothing sad about my life.
do you ever feel like that's missing though when you like, especially when you're meeting somebody new or trying to explain something? You're like, I also used to be in a band, but
Dude,
I'm not anymore.
I've done that 3 times in the last 3 weeks because I'm training guys at work and they keep asking me about like,
Yeah.
oh, well, like what are you into? And
You
I
show
tell
them
like
Spotify?
music and
Like
shit.
20 years ago, I was in a band.
No, they always ask like, oh, do you play any instruments? And then sometimes I'm like, no. But sometimes,
I don't
like,
want to talk about it.
These last 3 are like they have kids that are musicians and shit too. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, so then I get sucked into the whole like, oh yeah, we did this, and this,
Yeah.
and then it's sad.
Well, I'm always curious because, like, not for nothing, you guys have evolved. You know, you've got the wife and the kids, and everything's kind of moved into different priorities in a natural way that's still fulfilling. What does that hole look like of not having the band anymore?
That's a good question.
I think it's an outlet for music because when you're playing in a band and you're like motivated and encouraged to play, it's like I have to practice these songs because we have a gig. I can't suck,
Right.
especially to try to play well for these guys. I can't just show up and suck. It's like what's the point of that? You know. So like I said, I was trying to keep up with Jage and trying to keep up with Dan. So that would make me practice. We
You're
have
such
a
a
gig.
fucking asshole. You're
I have
so
to.
good. Shut up.
Because then it's like you prioritize it.
Everyone
like, I
at me is
can't
like,
just-
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, you said that right at the beginning.
Like,
Yeah, but
I
I
have
am
to
being
work
a
on
nice
chops, like, I
guy.
have to
I'm saying
practice.
he's super good, and you're making it sound like you're not amazing. Like you're amazing. What are you talking about?
Well, it makes me laugh hearing him say that and watching how many times you dickheads were drunk and couldn't play, and him and Dan were the only ones playing.
Bullshit. There was only one time that we were too
So we
drunk
agree,
to play.
1 out of 1, which is 100%.
Actually, we were drunk a lot of the time and played badass as fuck.
He's got you there, Tim.
I was pretty much drunk every single time we played,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I smoked cigarettes and drank while I played, and would either like throw the cigarette down and sing. Like
Light
I
the
could
venue
fucking
on
do
fire.
that shit.
Yeah.
There was one time though, well, 2. One, or was it maybe the same time?
It's already
the
done.
one time at End Zone, which we used to frequent quite a bit.
was the spot.
I even say we were close to being a house band there for a while. We were basically playing there like multiple times a month, and we were packing it. And
George loved this.
there was one time where, and this might have been the same one, where we didn't go on until midnight. Well, is it? So I want to say the time that we were about to start the show. I sat down. We're about to start, and I'm like, I gotta pee. And then I got up to pee. Was that the same night that we went on at midnight, and I could barely keep a beat?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So
actually,
one
you
shot.
got up in the middle of the set to go pee.
No, not the middle.
It was the first time Marquette ever saw us.
I thought that was when I got up to pee at the beginning of the set.
No, we literally it was like two or three songs, and you're like, I gotta take a piss. Shut the fuck up. I don't care.
Okay. But I still played good, right?
Yeah.
Played
I don't
well.
know. I don't know. I couldn't sing that night. Matt Cope had to sing all my songs.
No, that was the night that I couldn't sing either. That
I
was
think that's the same night you two were
that.
out of control.
That
Yeah.
was.
Well,
That
no,
was
because
our
it was
fault for 2 reasons.
yeah.
One, because we drank too much, and the other, we book all the other bands,
Yeah.
and we just say, play as long as you want. Go ahead.
That's
And-
true also, yeah.
And
So
we got
didn't hit
there.
the stage till fucking midnight, 1 o'clock.
It was. I think it was close to 1 when we actually went on.
Yeah.
Which nobody wants to do.
Right.
And we got there at like 4 because I think I was
Yep.
doing the sound. And
That is a long day. That sucks.
it was a crazy long day.
and his open bar, dude.
Yeah.
And it was open bar, and we didn't go on until like 1 or whatever. And then and then we did still play the show, and it wasn't perfect. And it was me and Jason could. I think it was both of us were the same.
I
It was like
I almost took down the tower of speakers.
into my drums.
Yeah,
But both of us were the same. Both of us were like, we can play or we can sing,
yeah.
but we can't do
you
both.
do both.
And so,
Which is funny because after that show, George, the owner, was like, "Hey, starting now, you guys can take a cut of the door, or you can drink for free because you can't do both."
and I think that too was also because we started at 4. We got there at 4, and we were getting free drinks like the entire time. So,
Yeah.
but other than that, I will tell you, I was pretty drunk most of the other shows,
Yeah.
and I always had like a good.
We were
I
pretty-
think I think in
we got pretty good at hitting that balance.
I think in the developer world they call it the Balmer's Peak, if I recall correctly. But there's like a certain level of drunkenness where you're actually better at
Yeah.
stuff.
Like your inhibitions are gone. And
Yeah,
all that.
but then like right after that you're fucked. So you gotta be really careful. And I would usually get right after that, but I'd still be really good. So I think my threshold is a little bit harder.
What do you think about that question that Matt just answered though about like that hole that not having the band leaves?
Oh, you mean back to the interview?
Yeah, right. Yeah, back to what we started. Like, oh, we're on a podcast. Surprise.
So are you asking, does it feel like there is a hole because we aren't in a band anymore?
I guess in essence, like it's just been filled with other priorities, right?
Yeah.
Do you miss it, or I guess even with you wanting to do new stuff, you're probably content with the life you have.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm getting at. I mean, I feel like I've done what I wanted to do, and I appreciate the things that we have done. And there is a part of me that would like to do that again, and I feel personally like when or if I'm going to do that, I will. But I don't feel like it's a hole or a void or anything. I feel like I've already filled that and had a great time with it. And if I die tomorrow or tonight, maybe in 2 seconds,
Please don't.
then I'll still.
I hope that's the noise you make when you die.
Isn't that what South Park said? Like you shit, and all the stuff comes out of your body. I don't know. But I feel like I'm content with what I have done, and but I would like to do more, and I do feel like I will, if I decide to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not like feeling like
You're not
there's
missing
something that I
anything
need
at
to
all.
do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you think?
There's nothing sad about my life.
He's got total void right now.
It's a black fucking endless void.
It's almost like he's trying to convince himself.
Yeah. No, I hate it. I hate every part of not playing music.
Yeah.
I did it for 20-something years, and I don't want to do it with anybody else.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad about that too. Like I
Really?
do feel like I want to help you with that.
No,
like,
I don't-
I would
it's-
like to play with you.
Wait, so he's got a bad attitude, and you want to fix it
No,
because
no.
you don't want to make music at this moment. So you feel like you should fix his.
Well, I
problem
feel
because he wants
bad
to.
that I feel because he's saying like he wants to do it, but he doesn't really want to do it with anybody else, and like part of me does want to do it, but it's hard because we've got so much else going on, and
Yeah. I'm not a child. I get it.
I know, but like
I just
part of me wants to be able to help.
I wasn't ready
do
for
that
it
with
to
you.
end when everybody else was. I took it really hard.
You
I
guys
wasn't
ended
either by
out of
then.
nowhere. Realistically, like it was just abrupt.
It was
took
because the house.
I took it super fucking hard, and I think it's because of my personal past, where I've been abandoned by fucking
Well,
everybody.
yeah.
I thought, like, well, now my friends are doing it. Fucking
Yeah.
great. So I took it super hard, and it's still hard for me to let go of.
Well, what happened
Yeah.
was that the lease on the second house was up, and we didn't have any place to practice.
Yeah.
And just for the record, if in case anyone didn't know or forgot, I was trying to find another house or a practice space and organize that so that we could keep going because I didn't want to stop either. And JJ actually said he would be in to find another place to live, but no one else really wanted to do it anymore. And I don't blame you for that because we were kind of falling out of it, and like we
Yeah.
weren't practicing.
Everybody was off with their
We're all doing our own thing.
serious relationships and everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And
the other thing that
working
kind of
and
happened
stuff.
too. Is like Jade was dating Melissa, who would become his wife. You started dating Gina, that would become your wife. Like, so priorities were starting to shift in general.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of made sense because it doesn't feel like it ran its course. It feels like it almost like the better thing where it ended, where it was still like on top. Well,
that's
which is
kinda
how I
true.
would describe it. Like, which is the best way to go out. You don't want to fizzle out and be forgotten. You want to fucking still on top, be like, and we're done.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, it does feel like it kind of fizzled, but we did get to play shows and stuff like that at the end. Like we didn't.
I think what I hate is that we didn't have a final, like an official final show. Like it just feels
Yeah.
like an open bookend.
If I could have gone, I would have loved if you guys could have lasted the 3 more weeks to our final show
Yeah,
and played that, and it would have been all of our like big going out.
yeah.
I'm not sure that I was aware of that because I feel like at least thinking back on it now, I don't see why we wouldn't have done that. I think unless maybe we didn't want to say that we're done.
Maybe. Yeah, I can't remember at this
Because we
point.
definitely weren't all like, we're done. Like, we never said that. It just kind
we
of.
did talk about finding like maybe renting a practice space
Yeah.
instead of a living space.
Yeah, and I think our final show was too fast approaching for you guys to be like, all right, we'll just end it here then.
Yeah.
Because you guys still might have been able to do something.
But yeah, my big thing is like you guys are my boys, my family. Like that was the hardest part for me. I was like, well, now I'm not gonna see these fucking guys every day anymore, and like everything's gonna change and it sucks. But I'm a grown up, like I said, and turns out I saw you guys way more still.
Yeah, we didn't stop
We just
like,
don't
hanging
do
out or
music.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
again, like, too, we were all living together
Yeah.
at that point. So that was a big change, too. It's like, yeah, we're not going to see each other every waking fucking minute of the day when we're not working.
Yeah.
And that was sad
And I
because,
moved
like,
to-
it was fun.
I moved to California shortly after that too.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of shit.
First, bro.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm curious too is, like, you guys have been friends. Most of you guys have been friends forever, and bringing in somebody like Jage and Matt are like just two of the best guys you can know.
Was in the band.
Yeah, it's easy to forget Jage is in the band.
JJ's a cat.
How
Dinah
dare-
loves me.
I hope
How
the
dare
mic
you.
picked that up.
But is there any times that
We
you guys,
Sabrina the Teenage Witch his ass.
is there any times that you guys bumped heads about making creative choices, and about like, or is it easier because like Walsh would write a song or Andy would write a song, and like it's kind of like, here's what you're gonna do, put your spin on this, because I know in my own experience, like, we bumped heads sometimes. When you put 5 egos in a room, how do you just make something that sounds so unison?
Yeah. I think you guys had a lot more egos than we did.
I can't.
but-
I can't think of any times where.
Well,
like,
not
we
for
bumped
nothing.
heads
I think the joke was
musically.
always, well, they just write punk rock, and that's
Yeah.
Not so much musically, but philosophically, I remember bumping
Yeah.
heads with Andy all the time
Politically.
because
well, that's what it's like to be friends with
Andy always wanted
Really?
Andy
I'm no
always
dickwit,
Andy
just-
always wanted to reach for professionalism. He
Yeah.
wanted the recording to be as good as it
Oh,
could
that's
be.
true, yeah.
He wanted
Well, he's
he
a
wanted us
perfectionist,
he wanted
yeah.
us to present ourselves as a professional band.
which is a
And-
great quality, actually. Yeah.
I said that will come in time. We need
Mm.
to focus on the music and being good like musicians and performers. And Andy was like, "No, that will come in time as long as we fake it until then." And we
What are
we
you
bumped
re-
heads a lot of
Are you
that.
referring to, like when we were recording specifically, or?
Yeah, like for example, you wrote good tunes, but you wouldn't do it. You would make us re-record riffs over and over and over again, and you'd spend days and days trying to get the sound just right for a demo. Where I was like, "Why don't we spend this energy and write a couple of better songs?" And you were like, "No, let's just pretend that we have better songs until we have better songs."
Wait, so you are particularly speaking of like the recording process.
Well, that's a good example of it, but just the notion of you wanted to be a band and I wanted to be a musician, and both were necessary.
Okay.
But you thought one came before the other, and I thought the exact opposite. And so we did bump heads about that. I was like, be a fucking artist, and you were like, be a fucking businessman, and we were both right. It was just about like, what do we need to do first or now, and who knows? Maybe we should have done both at the same time, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really like. I totally know what you're talking about in terms of like pushing you guys to. I'm looking at it from like the recording aspect because that seems like the most. Like that's what I'm gathering from you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause I know I would be like, you can do it better. I think what did I say? tighten it up. Was like what I'd always be
No,
like. When
so no, I think we
I've
were
heard him say that
we were
before.
always in a pretty much in agreement
that's a
there
big
that,
thing
Oh, okay.
that the
Say.
performance
Hey,
should be
tighten
good.
it up.
But I'm
like
talking about
signature Andy.
like if we were gonna when we cut like our first demo, you were like, okay, I want to do this for the demo, and I want to do this, and we need to talk about art, we need to talk about distribution, we need to talk about this and this and
We
this,
need
and
a
I was like,
street
no, we need to talk about the chords changes, and we need to talk about the the lyrics and the harmonies, and we need to drill this shit and write a good fucking song. And you were like, no, we need to present it as though it's already good. And
Okay.
That's
both
part
of
of the
those things were
success.
true.
I think there's value in
because
both philosophies.
You're driving the
I think it's important
creativity.
to
You're driving.
I'm not
like,
sure that I was aware that we were doing that, or
that's-
I was doing
That's
that.
because you and me, just our personalities, we would go at each other all the time because we enjoyed it, and we come from some different perspectives.
But we
just-
didn't.
just
We
in
weren't like
life.
fighting or anything.
No,
were
I don't.
we?
Other
Ribbon.
people, I think,
Ribbon
watching
each
the
other.
conversation would think that we're fighting,
Okay.
but we just kind of enjoy doing that with
Yeah.
each other.
Like bantering or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not
Pushing-
arguing per
pushing
se,
each
but
other's
like
positions and being like,
I think that's
oh, you
what it's
think
like
that?
to be
Defend it,
family with
motherfucker.
somebody.
okay.
They are mom and dad of the band for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys ever have any like breaking off into like groups within the band, like, or was it
I
always
don't
just
think so.
all five of us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all five all the
we,
time?
we were a group, as from my perspective, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Always
hated
united.
Dan for a long time, but that was about it.
Was that when he was out of the band though?
I mean, it was only when just now that he mentioned all that crap.
How dare you?
No, there was never
No,
any,
we
never
never
any
did anything like
grouping.
that.
Like we would go off on our own for spats,
Sure, yeah.
but never like
Yeah,
cluster.
as drama, I don't
Yeah.
remember any drama.
Yeah.
In terms of like writing and stuff like that, like
Personally, anyway.
you were
Yeah.
mentioning earlier. Well, there was that one time Marty called me fat and I punched the fan.
Oh yeah, and broke your hand.
Yeah, that was my
I
fan.
didn't break. No, I broke my hand because I
Punched
was
the
playing a
wall.
video game and I was pissed off at the game and my girlfriend at the time, who was saying stupid shit, and then I punched the wall and broke my hand. That was
You tried to
way-
punch me that night too.
That was way after. Wait, what?
Yep.
The day Marty called me fat?
No, whenever
'Cause
you
I
broke
was.
your hand,
Still, he didn't have to say that.
I
He was
still
right.
am, but yeah, no, he was mean about it.
you were mad at
He
me
was mean.
because I was.
The
friends
fan
with your
was
girlfriend.
the fan was
was my
going.
Was it like a ceiling fan?
No, it was a standard. It was
standing
like a
fan,
stand
like a-
fan.
Punching upwards?
It was a stand
Like
fan.
a Mortal Kombat? Like
Ah,
And
the
it
old
didn't-
Hadouken.
And it didn't have
uppercut.
it didn't have the grill on the front either because we had broken it already. So the fan was like spinning. I was like,
exposed.
"Ah!" and I punched the exposed fan in the wall.
Yeah, it, like pieces of the fan stuck into the bricks.
Incredible.
Oh, it did not.
Oh yeah, it did.
Shut up! You're exaggerating.
Pieces
me
of the
a
fan are
fan,
still there
asshole.
to this day.
It's still in
You
my
can still
hand.
find pieces of the fan in an
It was the
X-ray.
fan that actually helped me play drums.
Now we know.
No, that was ridiculous. But no, that was the most. At that and the day that we told Jimmy that we wanted to start a different, or like have him out of the band, basically. Those were like the two hardest things
Yeah.
that I think we ever had to do.
Yeah, that's never fun.
No. But other than that, no. And then to speak to like the ego thing, like, and the writing, like you do this, you do that kind of thing, that all really came naturally to us. Like,
Yeah.
Dan would write songs and he'd, like I said before, he would be like, oh, I was thinking we would do something like this here. And I can't, maybe it happened, but I can't recall any time where I would be like, oh yeah, I want to do this. And you'd be like, no. You know, you do this.
Yeah,
Da, 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 da,
no,
da.
I think you're absolutely right. In fact, I think part of my writing style is I'd come to the practices with a song, say 70% done, and the bits that weren't done would be like, hey, I got an idea, like at this part that Andy, you'll just do like an Andy thing, and then at this part, JJ will do like his
Yeah.
JJ thing, and you guys were like, okay, let's see, JJ thing, and I'm like, that's the one.
And we do it over and over again
Yeah.
until we like refined it.
Totally.
That was cool. There was one thing that you wanted me to do, and we didn't fight about it or anything, but I couldn't do it. There was one time early on, I think it was Burnt Toast still, where you wanted me to do the beat that was like do that do that do that do that do that
Oh,
do
yeah.
that do that, and I could not for the life of me get the hi-hat part right
In between the two bass.
in
lines.
between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bitch of a track though. Like that's tough.
It's not
Right.
really that, but at the
Oh, you
time
couldn't
it
even
was-
do it, bro. Tell me it's easy.
He couldn't do it when he was 16.
Fair enough.
But eventually, I did figure it out,
Oh, yeah.
and then I think I did something like that in the first demo that we recorded at
Yeah.
the.
I think honestly, I think I
Isn't that
remember
the same
being
breakdown
on
in Titty
vacation with
Twister when
in
you guys covered
Colorado.
that?
Titty Twister?
Yeah.
Diesel Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the breakdown at the end of that.
No, we figured it out way before that. We figured
yeah.
that out in Tagalong because I remember
Yeah, towards the
on
end.
vacation with you where we were like talking about that specifically, and you were like, "All right, do me a favor," and you asked me to take your hand and slap your own knee
I
with
don't-
your own hand.
Oh, I do remember
And you
that,
were like,
yeah.
"I'm gonna do my feet."
Yeah.
And then you just take my hand and slap my own knee with it, while in an even like hi hat, and I'll go. And then you were like, oh, and then you're like, let go of my hand, let go of my hand. I got it.
That's amazing. I
Yeah,
forgot
it was
about that.
cool.
That's so cool. I love that shit. That's
So good.
That's the kind of shit that is just like wow. Like we've known each other for so long and we've grown so much, like as musicians together and learned so much. That's cool. I love that shit.
Yeah, that is awesome. What do you
Hold
guys
my
think
hand.
about the Short of All legacy? Is there a legacy?
No.
Not to us.
The only thing that we have is on Spotify, and that's
Yeah.
that's gonna last until they decide to Schmed decides to stop paying for it.
You can listen to it on the free
He kicked me
version.
off the family plan. I'm sure it's coming.
No, you have to pay to host it.
Oh, you're
and-
right. You're right.
As soon as Schmed decides to stop doing that, it's
Is
getting
he
away.
paying your hosting fee?
Yeah. Well, he already pays like his own, and he gets like a certain number of bands
Oh,
or
you guys
whatever.
didn't get your own?
No,
You guys are the
What do we
worst.
look like?
we're Pink Polo,
Richers?
bitch.
That's
What
hilarious.
are you jealous?
Kinda.
I think he's still got an open slot.
Yeah. Our stuff, we have our own. So
So you're paying for that like a sucker
it's like $80, and that's it.
So
forever?
Yeah.
No, there's some. I thought there's some sort of, like thing you have to pay annually.
No.
So Deep, did you like us
Schmed's
more
ripping me off.
or Jadam James?
Well, like the music or the people?
Everything.
I
Be
mean,
honest.
The people are similar. You guys are friends
Okay.
with them, right?
Okay.
What do you mean,
Wrong
okay?
answer.
The music
How-
was
I mean,
cool as fuck.
How often do we all play together? Light in the Attic, Short of All, right? All
I
the
bet
time.
you liked the music more with them because it was more.
I got to write, and I wrote
Well, that's a huge thing. Yeah.
90% of it, which was like
Oh, that's
really
massive.
fun. Yeah,
It was
so
Actually,
I did.
I would. How do you feel about doing a solo episode? I would love to talk more about that.
sure.
Hello,
But
there's
not
other
here.
people here.
Well, Andy, we still got to do one too.
Well,
I'll do
thanks.
one.
I'll be the second.
It was cool because it's a different style of music altogether again.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just every few years I just kept transitioning like music that was like what
seemed
like
like
aggressive
you had way
country.
more
like
fun
how
with
could
those
you
guys.
express it? You know.
I loved it.
But I
That's
took
why
the
wanted
punk
to
rock
record you
roots.
guys.
I'm like, we got to
Yeah.
be aggressive and
I
like,
actually
be
feel
out
like it
there
was
and-
ahead of its time because I listen to
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff now.
Now, yeah.
It's almost like a punk rock country,
It's like a resurgence
and
right
it's
now.
so good. There's so many awesome bands right now that are like that.
I guess that's how we explained it. We would explain it as like punk rock country.
Yeah.
And it was very
As,
fun, and we refined it like very well, and I was like very proud of that stuff. But it was
cool.
fun to like
It was cool
write
to watch
and
you
like
guys,
have an
man.
outlet, you
Yeah.
know. Because
Yeah,
these
it
guys
is.
didn't let me write
Yeah.
at all. No, I'm
No.
just kidding.
It sounds like you barely were in the band.
Barely.
You were just a little baby.
I just showed
apparently.
up. I came down from my bedroom, and I just was there.
Here I am.
I guess I'll play your guitar.
I guess so. I don't even own it.
Do you feel like there's any kind of Short of All legacy, or is it just a blip in your life?
Dude, it means everything to me.
Does
To
it?
be a part of it was incredible. Seriously,
Do you feel like
probably
it's,
not enough to
yeah.
these guys, but
Amazing
like
to hear
I
that.
do.
I-
It's like I'm still talking about it to this day to people, and I was like so proud to be a part of it.
That's
and
awesome.
I was so happy you guys let me be a part of it after how many years of trying to install myself.
I had forgotten about
So,
that, to be honest. and-
Was it? Were you to credit for me playing?
No, I
Or
think it was
I think
Jason.
it was Jason because
Sounds like it was
ultimately
Jason.
you were like, you know what,
It's another
our
win
lead
for
singer, he
DJ
wants to
guy.
just like he doesn't want to play anymore, just wants to sing. So maybe you can come play
He's
some
so
chords. I'm
lazy.
like, dude, let's
to
do
take
it.
over his job.
So I don't know who to thank. You know.
Well, you should thank Jason for sure.
Okay.
And you should thank whoever the store manager was that hired you. And Gary was the one that hired me at Guitar Center Naperville. If that was who
Gary
hired
hired
you.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then we should thank Gary.
Let's thank him.
All right.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Waiting
If you're
for-
listening to this,
Not the
But
snail
it's-
from SpongeBob. Gary, the Guitar Center manager.
there's a legacy
If
for
you
me.
stop fucking with the cat, it won't make
That's
noise.
the noise Gary
That's
makes.
JJ.
Yeah, there's a special place in my heart for it forever.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome.
For Short of All.
I
100%.
had no idea. I've learned a lot
100%.
tonight. I
Yeah.
think I'm very excited.
One thing that I would, as a final thought, leave is that just because of the way I am, almost every social interaction I've ever had in my entire life, there's a bit of me that's in my own head and up my own ass. and a little bit like
There's a lot of you in
removed
your
from
own
the
ass.
situation, and a little bit social anxiety going on. Being at practice and being on stage, I never felt that I was completely free with you guys every second of that. And
Yeah.
On
I
stage
miss
was
it,
the
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for as nervous wreck as I am, I never
Yeah.
had a second of stage fright. Loved it.
I'm
Loved
with
every
you.
second of it.
It's like I can't talk to 5 people,
Yeah.
like, but you put me on a fucking stage with a microphone and you guys behind me, I'll talk to 1,000 people and not a fucking hint of nerves or anything.
Now, as
It's
soon as
so
we're off
fucking-
stage and somebody tries to
Yeah,
tell me
exactly.
that I had a good
When
set,
somebody's like,
I'm like,
"Hey,
shut
good
up,
set,"
don't
you're
talk
like,
to me.
"Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
That was horrible.
You know, I think that
we
was
did dog shit.
I think that was a big problem for us. Like, I feel like Jason did really good, and you did good too. But like talking to people afterwards and like socializing.
No,
but
I
I
didn't.
was very like, I don't really want to talk to anybody. Like, I don't want.
Well, take that on a drum set. That sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
He didn't do that. I did
Usually,
that.
well, you usually gotta do it quick. The next band's gotta go, or you gotta get
You
the
did
hell
that
out.
sometimes,
like,
but I did a lot.
But yeah, no, I agree with Dan. Like being on stage was awesome. I think we
Yeah.
relied on each other. We knew we can confide in each other.
Oh, yeah.
And like watching you guys before I was even playing with you guys was awesome, and then
Yeah.
to be able to play part of it, I think that was magical
And
too. But
what's cool too is like if any of us were having like an off night, like you could rely that someone else was gonna be right, like oh shit, I fucked that up, but nobody noticed because this
Yeah.
dude's fucking ripping.
And not
or,
we,
like
we never ever once, I don't think, fought about a performance or about musicality, about like if somebody dropped a chord or missed a cue or anything. We never busted each other's balls about that. We
laughed
like you
about
said,
it.
We picked we picked each other up
Yeah.
about it, and we were like there for each other. Hey man, it's not a big deal. Let's get the next one, and
yeah,
it was just so 100% positive that I miss that for sure.
fucking
Good times.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a great place to end. Does anybody have anything else to add? Pretty much sums it all up.
There's nothing sad about my life.
Yeah, well, we've definitely learned that tonight.
my thing is, when's the reunion show?
Ooh, there you go.
Well, as Dan said, we're gonna have to spend like a year getting back into our
2026 we'll play.
yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think like you guys.
I got
could-
time.
You guys could probably pick up and be back where you're at like a lot faster than me.
I
'cause
sing all day, every day. I'm alone in a truck all day, just belting it.
I just feel like the drumming thing is gonna like the It's gonna take. I feel like it's gonna take me a while. It would take me a while to get back to like the stamina.
Stand 'em up.
Now I'm gonna have to go Geddy Lee though and play like bass with the left hand and keys with the right hand.
That'd be cool. Could we get a guitar?
I don't think you're allowed to call him that.
What do you call them?
I feel like JJ owns a guitar.
Shoulder-mounted keyboard.
If
You just
anyone
play
has
a keyboard.
it is JJ.
Keytired, yeah.
I acquired
I think
guitar
JJ just-
some time ago.
I think JJ just texted me and said, "Stop talking about me."
Probably. He knows what's up. All right, well, shit, I think that's where we'll call it then.
Shit of all.
I appreciate you guys so much for
I'm so
getting
happy
everybody
this-
here. I didn't think it would come together
I'm so happy
easily.
this happened.
Yeah, it's awesome that everybody had the time. Like, we really put this together in only a couple days.
4 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
I
figured I would schedule it out, and
I'm
I'm like,
Dude.
how about Friday?
You know what? I think that's the true testament for how much we all care about each other.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let's be.
and
there.
that's why
let's
we're
do
all
it.
here, and JJ's not anymore.
I was so
Boom.
fucking bummed when I got my work scheduled yesterday and I saw how busy my day was today.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, nah, you're all right.
Dude.
Had
We
a
wouldn't
good
have done
time
it.
beforehand.
I said
Yeah.
that to Gina
Dude,
earlier.
that's
I'm like,
true.
if
Yeah.
I'm worried
couldn't
that
have all-
someone is gonna have to like back out, and
Yeah.
but I said, so I said I might be home early, but I said if everyone's not there, then I'm not gonna do it because
Yeah,
everyone has to be.
My
here.
work threw a 13-and-a-half-hour day at me the last minute, and I was like, God damn it. Dude.
And at least JJ was here for like.
I was in
80%
Green
of
Bay
it.
earlier today.
Really?
Damn, dude.
That's yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, if we can get together this
Cheesehead.
easily, maybe a reunion show's not that.
Maybe we should
hard
just start
to-
practicing right now.
But Tim has to plan it.
Tell you what,
Oh, that's, yeah.
You
okay.
orchestrated this, so thank you.
Fair enough. I'll
Tim
do it.
could be our manager.
Boom.
Apparently, he's got a
guys-
Spotify account.
Guys
so-
will actually get shit done now.
Yeah.
I love you guys, each and every single one of you, so much. I appreciate you guys finding time coming together to be able to talk about this stuff. I absolutely adore every fucking song you guys have ever written, and they mean it. I feel like they mean as much to me as they do to you guys.
Every song.
Every single song,
Every single
Dude,
one. Name
every
them.
single one.
Name them.
Even the shitty ones that nobody talks about, like "Story of a Girl," was only released on that one shitty demo and never talked about again. I still like it.
That was one of the
What about
set.
Sundays with Donna?
That was one of the set.
know that
Good
one.
call. I don't.
Story of a Girl was one of the set of the few beginning songs that started
Yeah.
Short of All.
That's true.
The Andy,
Yeah.
you could be in this band
Yeah.
if you wanted songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all right. Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
Later,
Thanks,
brother.
Tim.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for hanging in there. Hopefully making it through the episode. Go listen to Short of All right now. They're on Amazon Music, they're on Spotify, wherever you stream your music. You guys are amazing. Love them. They're all my friends. That's some kind of brag. I gotta get the hell out of here. This is